As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Iafrate and Booner. It's Friday, December 26th. Recapping another Lions loss. Three straight. I mean, what we were talking about the Dan Campbell era, them not losing two in a row in a while. Now they've lost three straight. They lost to the Minnesota Vikings. And they've lost to a quarterback in Max Brosmer, who passed for how many yards?
Maybe under 100. I don't even know. I honestly didn't even look at the box score for them last night. They won the game. Good for them. It's incredible from him.
Turnovers. They scored
51 yards.
Yeah. And the Lions had 6 turnovers. They had turnovers on pretty much half of their possessions. So, and then they only scored on 2 of them. One was a touchdown by Isaac Tesla, who got basically concussed when he caught it, which was an incredible touchdown. And the other one was just a field goal by Jake Bates. So, just an ass whooping to a division rival. And with still technically, even though I really don't care, but just from a player's perspective, still technically a chance to make the playoffs. You had to win out. The Packers need to lose out. And they show up and look like that against the Minnesota Vikings, who are missing Jonathan Greenard and Josh Metellus on defense, one of their best defensive players. They're out. And it was no problem at all. The Lions were without some guys on the O-line. And you saw that kind of show its face. Kingsley at center. Dan said Graham was on reserve, I guess. He was there, but he was just hurt, so they started Kingsley.
Yeah.
And he melted down. Just miscommunications on some of those snaps. Jared Goff had a bad game, just an overall really bad game. I mean, I think he had a fumble, 2 picks. And then Jahmyr Gibbs had a fumble. I mean, it was a Christmas miracle. They were just giving away fumbles, Boone. They're just handing out fumbles. I don't think, and I was thinking about this last night, I'm trying to think of all the NFL games I've watched this year, like the most turnovers in a football game. I think that has to be like number 1 or number 2. I just don't remember 6 turnovers in a football game.
But Jared Goff, you said one. The man had 3 fumbles. Or were you talking about Gibbs through 1? Jared Goff, 3 fumbles. 3 fumbles lost, 2 interceptions. It felt like that.
Technically, the Kingsley the miss.
Yeah, I mean, depending on who you want to put the blame on, but yeah, the turnovers, the game as a whole. Listen, I thought yesterday, Jeff, like what me and you have been talking about with this football team for weeks now, that there is no identity, and it feels like they don't play that tough and they don't have that edge. And Dan does keep saying after these losses, like all 3 straight losses, Dan has gone to the media and has been like, the effort's there. We're just not clicking. It's like, I don't know if there is, because like I see a guy like Aleem McNeil run down the sideline who can go try to catch Eric Brosmer, a 4th-string quarterback in the NFL, and he just stops running and watches him run for 15 yards down the field. Like, there's specific guys where there's efforts there, Amon-Ra, these things, but it's a really disappointing. Like, you just don't have an identity, it feels like, in this football team. You've said it actually, I think, pretty well yesterday. Like, your identity of this football team for basically the whole season has just been Jared Goff playing extremely well and keeping you in games in those wide receivers. Like, that's the identity of this football team. And then yesterday, like Jared said in his post-game press conference, when, it's going to come at some point of the year, and this is why we're like Lions fans, like, oh, I hate golf so much. Like, you're an idiot, first of all. But like, some point for every quarterback each year, they're going to have, a game of turnovers. I wouldn't even put all of yesterday's on Jared Goff. He had 3 fumbles. 2 of the fumbles were your 3rd-string center snapping the ball early and you can't get to it. Like, but like Jared said, you're going to have those games, and it happened yesterday. You have to find a way to overcome it. They did it last year with the Texans. They weren't able to do it yesterday. And it falls on a lot of different people. It really does. I know we're going to, it should be a fun show, Jeff, honestly. I put a video out last night. I'll say this. I put a video out last night. And I'll tell you straight up. Like I put the blame on this season and everything on Brad Holmes. Like number one, it's on Brad for not having this team built. And the thing that he failed to do, a lot of people pushed back on me a lot because I said Brad has built this team around the offensive line, which I think is a fact. A lot of people were pushing back and saying he didn't build this O-line. Like, no, he might not have built the O-line, but he built the team around having a good O-line, which NFL teams do. Brad's failed the fan base in the Lions by not having an O-line this year. Like, I think last night that was one of the most clear, like if you understand the game of football, like that was the more clear thing that you could even see last night was this offensive line was not even bad. Like they were drastically bad. It was one of the worst performances I've seen, not just by an offensive line, but any position group in all of football. Like it was such a bad performance last night by that offensive line. They've cost you multiple turnovers, 3 or 4 turnovers. And they just, for weeks now, you have not been able to get the offensive line or the run game going because of that O-line. You haven't been able to get Jared Goff, any sort of time, it feels like. So it's, I don't know. I put it out there, Jeff, that I think the blame goes on Brad Holmes for this season as a whole for not preparing. People did not like, there were a lot of people pushing back. I was surprised. I thought more people would be on my side with that.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that people would even push back on that, honestly. I think, the offensive line already they were dealing with some injuries going to the game. They fell apart. And it's hard because when your identity is your quarterback and you're Jared Goff, and again, he did not play well. Blame's on Jared for yesterday, no doubt. Okay. He had 3 turnovers. Well, technically more than that, but just on Jared Goff, I would say like 3 turnovers, but still you could say 5 turnovers, whatever it is. When you're a quarterback, you don't have an O-line, and you don't have a consistent run game. As a quarterback, you feel like you need to make a play. That's the pressure you're under every game. It's like, I got to make a play. I got to try and make something happen because we can't run the ball. Which again, when you're running the ball, that's how you stay out on the field. That's how you get time of possession. You go on these long drives because you're able to run the ball. Everything just looks smoother on offense. Dan can call more plays. If you can't run the ball, you become more predictable. Defensive lines can just pin their ears back and rush the quarterback. And again, from a quarterback perspective, you feel like you got to make a play. You actually saw a lot of this with Matthew Stafford when he was in Detroit. It felt like he was just always trying to make a play. And Jared all season, I thought, has done a really good job of taking care of the football despite not being protected well, not having a consistent run game. It just came down to it yesterday that it caught up to him now. Like that man yesterday he wasn't Superman. Obviously, he was the opposite. And again, like you want to blame Jared Goff for yesterday, no doubt, go ahead. But we're talking about from a season sample size. Yeah. Like we've known this offensive lineman, he was pressured on 50% of his dropbacks, man. Any quarterback in the league, that's an uphill battle right there. And if you can't run the ball with, by the way, and love Jahmyr, but a top 3 back in the league, top 2 back in the league, and he can't do anything, that sucks. Even David Montgomery, they're trying to utilize him a little more. They just couldn't get anything going. And, I thought Brian Flores had an excellent game plan yesterday. He just did. He shut down everything the Lions wanted to do. So, yeah, if anything, this is just further confirms what they need to do in the offseason, which we'll talk about all that. I think it's a good day for that, too. We're going to go step by step. We're going to look at free agents. Who should they bring back? Who should they not? What should they do in the offseason to kind of fix this thing? I put a tweet out yesterday as well, kind of talking about what the Lions should do. And the reality is, and I said this on the postgame show, they got to be pretty much perfect in all their decisions this offseason. They got to be pretty much perfect, which is not a position you want to be in, but they have tough decisions to make, and they can't miss on any of those decisions. You just can't.
No.
From Dan's perspective to hire coordinators, from Brad's, it's going to be one of those off seasons, man.
It's something too. And I think people need to realize this, especially Lions fans who sit there and are optimistic, hey, you shouldn't be negative about this. It's going to be fine. Take a step back. I was even listening to last night, Jeff, Stoney and Jennifer Hammond, shout out to Hammer, talking about this, and those are the Hammer. We've listened to the Hammer forever. She's a pretty optimistic person. It feels like there is a clear, what is it? I don't want to say something in the air where everyone now should realize that next year is a make or break season for both Brad and Dan Campbell. There is no hey, you could have just an average season next year and your jobs are safe. Next year, you have to go out and perform. You were supposed to be a playoff team. Like this, if they were a playoff team this year and got bounced in the first round, I think conversations, yeah, they would be there, but I think it would be a little different. You fell apart. The roster fell apart. The roster that was supposed to be one of the best rosters in football, you endured a few injuries and everything fell to hell. Like players that you thought were supposed to be good haven't been good. Players that you drafted that were supposed to make impacts didn't make impacts. So roster-wise under Brad Holmes, and I tweeted it last night, Jeff, he did an amazing job. He did a great job building the franchise to what it got to, but he has failed and done a terrible job over the last 2 seasons of maintaining and continuing to build. Like he's done a terrible job. And I think that's fair. Like the players that he brought in for the foundation, great players, and he did a 100 out of 100 job with that. But the players around the foundation, he has failed completely. So I think with Brad, if they went to the playoffs this year, Jeff, and maybe won a game, didn't go to the Super Bowl, whatever, okay, you move on. There's no hot seat talk, nothing. You fell apart. You fell apart because of your roster and also because of coaching decisions with Dan Campbell. That's on those guys. It's on no one else. So, like, all of a sudden, a month ago, where we're all like, hey, if they just make the playoffs, like, there's no hot seat. Like, no one would ever think about talking about hot seat with Brad and Dan. Hey, when you have an all-time, fall down, it's going to come out. And those conversations are going to come up. And I'm not saying, like, today they're on the hot seat, but next year, if there are struggles next year and this team doesn't get built in the offseason and they don't actually address the real needs that people have been telling Brad Melvin Holmes about, his name's Melvin, right?
Yes.
So that's just like you have, dude, Jeff, like he has to make moves. And if the roster's not good enough and Dan's not good enough next year, that hot seat isn't warm.
Yeah.
I think right now going into this offseason, it's starting to get a little warm. It's like you get in your car, you have the seat warmers. You know, you have 3 different options. You maybe have the first option on and you're sitting there. Hey, hey, ooh, this feels nice. And then I think that next year, if they are losing a little bit, that hot seat goes up to level 3 and you start putting a lot of pressure on these guys because, listen, in the NFL, you either win or you don't. And if you're not winning, there's other people out there who will. And you can only lean on what you built for so long because you have to keep moving forward. And you have to be winning games, man.
I mean, bro, we watch the NFL, Boone. You see teams every year turn it around. And I'm not saying the Lions are a team. I mean, they've been a good team, but when you know how the league works, the league is a what have you done for me lately league. That's what happens in the NFL. It's what have you done for me lately? And you made this point last week and we talked about it, or this week, actually, earlier this week. You can't keep living off your first 2 draft classes. You can't. Okay. I mean, Brad has nailed his first 2 draft classes. He nailed his first couple draft classes. There was a couple misses in there, but he found some really impactful players. You can't keep living off your glory days. It's like that, like we joked about. It's like the high school athlete that was like, hey man, I could have made the league if I didn't blow my knee out. Like at some point you got to be like, all right, man, this isn't high school anymore. You nailed your first 2 draft classes, which is great, but your last 2 draft classes, or your first 2, excuse me, you nailed. Your last 2, how many players are actually helping you out right now from those last 2 draft classes? Maybe 1, 2. I mean, that sets you back. That sets you back as a franchise, man. That sets you back. Like having, guys taking projects throughout the last couple of years that haven't worked out. Taking guys that are injured going into the draft that are injured now after the draft. Like that stuff sets you back. And I know, and here, Klotz put a comment here, and I'm just going to use Klotz as an example because it's not Klotz. It's what I've seen a lot of lately. Like Lucas's comment. I like Goff. My only concern is Minnesota was able to send 7 at will because there was no threat of him beating the blitz, breaking the pocket, and creating a play. So here's and I want to have this Goff discussion before we get to like other stuff because people are talking about Jared Goff after the game he had yesterday. Okay, that's the conversation from the game. I'll say this. If we're going to talk about replacing Jared Goff, to me, I will be willing to have that conversation. I'm not afraid of that tough conversation. If you're in a position where you feel, hey, we have a stacked roster that we're ready to win with, and he is the one holding us back. I think if you're looking at this roster currently, and your takeaway, your main takeaway is we got to get a new quarterback, we're just watching different football games. Like, I think there's so many more things you need to address than quarterback right now. And to be honest with you, it's much easier to get worse at quarterback than to improve. The reality is Jared isn't athletic. He's not like Josh Allen, but he is not the problem with this football team right now. Now, in a year or two, when Brad turns this roster around and it's stacked, the O-line's better, everything else is, and you're like, we feel like we're a quarterback away from a championship, then you feel like Goff's the reason you're not winning, then we can have that discussion. But if you're just going, yeah, I don't really like him, let's just get rid of him and find a new guy. That to me is that's irresponsible. That's emotional. And you're making decisions based on what? Because he doesn't run like Josh Allen. It's like, dude, I get it, but there's only, if you put up Jared Goff for trade right now, I said it on yesterday's show, 20 teams would pick up the phone and call. Like, that to me is a guy like that to me is, it's a pointless conversation, Booner, because that's not we're talking about what the Lions need to do to get back to where they were when they were in the NFC Championship game. When, by the way, Jared and the offense scored 30 plus and you lost because you don't have a great defense still years later. To me, it's just a conversation I just don't really want to have. I just don't think it's relevant right now. Like, I really don't. And again, people want the shiny toy. I get it. But it's not the time for the golf conversation yet, man. You're that good. You got holes everywhere, man.
Like the end of this. Like, I don't. This is what I don't know. I don't think he's the number one problem, but he's that position is the number one solution. The problem is, and this is where Klotz, I think you get into la-la land sometimes. You think that you can just go out there and trade for Cam Ward. You think you could just go out there and trade for Josh Allen. That you could just go draft I don't know. I don't know who you think in the draft is great, a John Mateer or someone, and you're like, we're fixed. Like, that's not how it works. That's la-la land. Like, if you're one of those fans that think that Jared Goff could just get replaced and you're just going to swing and hit on a quarterback, like, you're wrong. It's not going to happen. Even if the quarterback's good, he's got to develop and learn the NFL. Look at even like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels in year 2. Look at CJ Stroud in year 2 last year. Like, guys struggled. They're going to struggle. You have to go through rookie struggles. You have a roster currently that can win a Super Bowl, and that has the pieces and the foundation to go, if you build it correctly, can win one. But if you go switch to a rookie quarterback or go trade for someone who's inexperienced, has never done it, you have to wait 2 or 3 years then. Right. And then at that point, guess what? You're losing. And Jeff, this is where I was wrong on Tuesday when we already had the conversation and argument where it's like, you do have a window with some of these guys. You do. And yeah, Brad drafted good the first 2 drafts. The last 2 have been bad. So that puts even more urgency, in my opinion, Jeff, on having to win with the guys that you currently have in the building, because you don't know right now, based off the last 2 years, you don't know if Brad Holmes can go back out there and do what he did in those first 2 drafts and get the pieces that he did in the draft. Yeah. You don't know. You have no clue. So trying to call for a quarterback's job and be like, that's the number one solution. The number one solution is very clear. You go this offseason and you put every single asset and every single dollar. And like I said last night, Jeff, you go out there and you cut players, you trade away players that have big contracts, you figure it out, and you go get as much money and assets as you can, and you build an offensive line for the weapons and for Jared Goff. And then you go out and get a new defensive coordinator, and you go get a defensive line. That's the vision for next year. That's the number one solution for next year if you want to win is offensive line. It's not Jared Goff. That will set you back years. It will set you back multiple seasons.
This is the problem I have. Like, this is the inconsistency. Shout out to the Doc, but Doc, you know he says Sean McVay's the smartest guy in the room, and Jeff is like, we like this. Golf against Washington Vikings, that was worse than Brett. By the way, guess who's always, hey Booner, me and you both. Guess who's always said Matthew Stafford is an elite quarterback? Us. And guess who always thought Matthew was the problem? Doc. So now we're going to sit here and say Sean McVay's the smart one. I thought Matthew Stafford sucked. I thought he was Mr. Pick Six. I thought he was bad. Now we're going to act like Sean McVay's the smart guy. We're playing hindsight 2020. By the way, Jared in LA when he was traded was awful. His last 2 years, he had, I think, double-digit interceptions. He had 16 picks, I think, his last year. He played awful. And by the way, it was the right decision to trade Jared for the Rams because he was playing bad, and they thought, if we get Matthew, we're going to win a Super Bowl. By the way, I think Matthew's an incredible player. I still believe he's an incredible player. even if people want to bring up he was the problem in Detroit, which is completely wrong. People act like that the year they traded Jared Goff when he was playing terrible football is comparable to what he's doing right now. Dude, Jared was not second in the league in yards, second in the league in touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the year when he was traded from LA. His last 2 years in LA, he had 20 touchdowns and 13 picks his final year. And then the year prior, he had 22 touchdowns and 16 picks. He almost had 20 touchdowns and 20 picks his last 2 years in LA, or his last year before he left LA. And then he was traded. Like, he's playing his best football right now with the Lions, and people are like, yeah, just do what the Rams did and trade him. Like, dude, I'm not sitting here and saying Jared Goff is Josh Allen or one of these top guys. I'm not one of those guys that are going to say that. But to say that, yeah, let's just trade him because he makes too much money. Guys, I think Doc said it in there, just do what the Bears did. The Bears had the number 1 overall pick and drafted a quarterback. You're not ever going to have the number 1 overall pick. You're just not, to get a quarterback of and I think Caleb Williams can be a good quarterback, but even if you don't think so, you're not going to have the number 1 pick. So what do? Your only pathway, if you want to move on from Jared Goff, is you have to do what the Chiefs did. And you have to, be a playoff team, which they weren't this year, but they were around the same record. I think they had a couple more wins, and they traded up to pick like 15 and got Patrick Mahomes. But like, that doesn't happen all the, like, dude, you mentioned it, like quarterback hit rate. Like, okay, if you want,
and even that, Patrick Mahomes sat for a year.
He sat for multiple years. And I don't even think Jared has I think he has a no trade clause. You can't trade him. I don't think you can trade Jared. I'm pretty sure he does. So you'd have to just ride out his contract, trade up for a rookie quarterback. But again, like, that's your only solution. You're not going to just dump Goff. You can't do it. So it's just not worth. It's wasting breath. You're not going to move on from Jared. Let's just be real. So he's making the money he's making. He's clearly going to have to reconstruct his contract. They're going to have to free up some money. And no one wants to mention the $30 million you gave Aleem McNeil. The guy hasn't done anything. No one wants to mention the money you're paying out to guys that are underperforming. It's like, I don't know. It's not the same. Until Jared's a clear reason, you have a stacked roster, then we could talk about it. But right now, man, like, they need to build. I tweeted out last night, they got to reconstruct their O-line. They got to reconstruct their D-line. They got to go out and replace relieving free agents, which we'll get to when we show off the free agents. But like, yeah, it's like, you know what it is, Boone? All year when Jared's been playing really well, people are kind of like chilling in the background. And then now that he had a bad game, everyone starts coming out of the dark. Everyone starts coming out of it.
All year. No one says anything all year.
It's like, guys, come on. Where were you guys all year?
We got a text last night from Klotz. Oh, here's Goff. Like, I can't hear it because he had no issues all year. All year he had 5 turnovers all season up until last night. 5. And then Jock's like, oh, well, it's the turnovers. Doc, you cover football. You can't sit there last night and say every single one of those turnovers was on Jared Goff.
Well, I think they were number 1 in the league. Number 1.
Well, maybe 1 was, but I'm saying not all of those were.
But I'm pretty sure the Lions going into the game are number 1 or number 2 in the league in turnovers. Like, in terms of the lowest amount of turnovers. They haven't turned the ball over really at all year.
It's the easy target. That's what it is, man. It's the easy
he plays the
target.
most important position. I get it. People
don't like to think outside the box. People want to, take the easy way out to have these conversations. They don't want to kind of really dig deep into what it is. Last night, you lost because of Jared Goff and all those turnovers. He is not the problem. He's not. There was a comment, by the way, too, from Klotz, Jeff, that kind of, after going through from what he said before. I want to go find it real quick. Hold on.
I think Doc said you can win with Goff, but not a Super Bowl. We're not even talking about a Super Bowl right now, Doc. Like, you're having a conversation probably 2 years too early. We're trying to just make the playoffs right now. This team's not even a playoff team.
Oh, yeah. Next year, you just have to make the playoffs.
Let's not talk about a Super Bowl
Expectations changed right now. They just flip. Next year, you just have to make the playoffs and win a playoff. Like, Super Bowl is great. You have to just get in the dance next year.
Yeah, let's just start. I mean, they need to. And if you want to win a Super Bowl, you better have a better O-line. Because I'm telling you right now, like, in a D-line, you got to rush the quarterback. You got to protect the quarterback better. Because they can't do either. So before we even get to replacing a quarterback, let's just do the fundamental things correctly. And let's hit on coordinators, by the way. Because they can't win with the coordinators they have. They can't at all. It's terrible.
So Klotz, maybe Klotz came around. I went back and read some of his comments. Maybe Klotz, if you're still listening, maybe he came around. He did say you guys admit there's a lot of holes, but he also says the number one solution to fix it is quarterback. So if you change quarterback, you just created a new hole, right? Like you're trying to, find solutions to fill these holes and to get better.
Yeah, it's like
problem. You're creating a boulder, or is that a boulder? What's the thing when there's a hole in the ground?
A crater.
You're creating a crater. Like that's what's happening. You're not just creating a hole. It's a crater when you have to move on from your quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's the easy thing to say. It's like, well, we have so many issues on this football team. Let's just get a quarterback. It's like, okay, you're gonna go draft a quarterback, by the way, which by the way is very uncertain that he even works out, but he could. You're going to drop a quarterback in this position with no protection in an inconsistent run game, and you don't have Ben Johnson anymore, so you got to find a new play caller. That guy's not going to thrive. Okay, that quarterback ain't going to thrive unless Tom Brady's coming out of retirement, like Doc said. You get Tom Brady out here for 1 year. It ain't looking like you got a solution. Okay,
I don't think Tom Brady coming out of retirement would be better than Jared Goff today.
No.
This many years
remember Tom Brady said, "I'd love to quarterback this offense." He don't want to quarterback this offense. Bro.
Yeah, Jared responded, "Just stay home, Tom."
Yeah, you don't want to quarterback this offense, bro. I'm telling you right now, not this one. Not getting hit. I think Jared's been sacked more times he ever has in his career officially. I think he's on.
Oh, really?
He has 36 sacks taken this year. His career high was 35. His first year in Detroit, bro. His first year in Detroit. The year that you had Tyrell Williams and fucking who else was out there? Perriman at receiver. He was sacked 35 times. He was sacked 36 times, and he has a game left. He has one more game left.
Hey, but Jeff, it's Jared, man. It's Jared.
What do you
it's
think
all
about,
on Jared.
What do you think about the Jahmyr Gibbs stuff? Like, would you still pay him max money? People are talking about it.
I think there's a conversation to be had about it. I think Gibbs is great, but I do. The problem is, and this is where I think you run into an issue, if I'm just being quite honest with you. You run into an issue because Jahmyr Gibbs is the talent of a Saquon and CMC and all of that, but no running back in NFL history can run and be, get to the, their ceiling without an offensive line. So if you don't have the money to get an offensive line and you have handcuffed yourself with other players under contract, and now you don't have the money to get an offensive line, there's no point in extending Gibbs or Gibbs if you can't get an offensive line. There's no point. You know what I'm saying? Like, there really isn't. So, I would rather personally, I want Jahmyr Gibbs to be here forever. He's a top 3 back in the NFL with an offensive line. But if you had to, if you sat some two-way road in front of me, Jeff, and this road says Gibbs and no offensive line, and an offensive line and 2 average running backs and Jared Goff, I would have to take the right road because I would want a great offensive line. Because I don't think you can win without one. I don't. And I think number one priority is the offensive line. And if you have to choose the money between one of the two, you have to even have a chance to win a Super. Gibbs isn't going to go out there with the beat up offensive line and take you to a Super Bowl on his own. He's not. It just won't. That's not. It's impossible. There's no. Saquon can't do it. No one can do it. CMC can't do it. But if you have an offensive line, man, you can have a David Montgomery and draft another rookie, and you can roll and you can, you saw what Jamal Williams did a couple years ago. Jamal Williams literally beat Barry Sanders' record of season high
with that offensive line,
and it was because Jamal is not Jahmyr Gibbs, but he did it because of an offensive line.
That's the reality, though, Boone. And I'm not saying that don't sign him and trade him, but I'm just saying that's why people bring up the risk of signing running backs, because they are offensive line dependent. That's the only trade-off when you sign if you sign a number 1 wide receiver, the guy just has to, Amon-Ra, just get open. When you sign a running back to max money, they are dependent on an O-line. So you're paying, you're basically paying 2 positions. You got to pay your back high paid money, and then you got to make sure you're paying your offensive line so he can run and get open, and the offensive line can create holes. So that's the only risk of paying a running back. And I brought it up. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is incredible. Obviously, he's an incredible player. But this year, it's just been a down year entirely. I mean, he was second in the league in rushing yards and, top 5 in offensive player of the year. He's dropped to 7th in rushing yards. He's
quick too.
He dropped pretty quick. Yeah, he got passed up. So he kind of fell off a little bit. Even though he's up in his receiving yards. I mean, he's almost 600 receiving yards on the year, but Yeah, it's the offensive line, man.
Well,
They
the doc, I would give credit to the doc. I heard him say this. I don't know if it was on our show or his show, but he actually brought up, Jeff, like with Jahmyr Gibbs. It sucks for him, but guess what they're going to have to do? Like, he's in year 3 right now, correct? So you're talking about year 3 Jahmyr Gibbs. You opt in. If they extend him, I think he might be eligible for an extension this offseason. I could be wrong with that, but I believe he might be.
I think you are.
You don't extend him right now. You don't do what you did with Jameson Williams. You go into this year, you opt into his 5th year, and you roll the next 2 years, and then you franchise tag. You franchise tag him.
I have
and
no
you get him for a
problem with that.
3rd year. And I know it sucks, and I know it's not what he wants, and he could obviously request a trade and do all this. But when you get to a certain point, man, when you have a roster the way you do, you have to make the decisions that some players might not like. And Brad, I know you want everyone to like you and you want to be the family, all that. You have to make decisions. And Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the best backs in the league. Go out this offseason, you build an offensive line, and you have an opportunity to keep Jahmyr Gibbs around on this football team for the next 3 seasons. If you can have a good O-line, that's worth it. You have a 3-year window to win a Super Bowl with an offensive line of Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm sorry, like, I know Jahmyr wants a contract. I know he does. But you have to make decisions, and that seems like that's probably, if you're talking about best decision for the organization or best decision for Jahmyr Gibbs, for Jahmyr Gibbs, it's the best decision for the organization. That's what it is. And Brad he doesn't get paid to make decisions that are best for the players. That's on them. He makes decisions or paid to make decisions for the fans and the organization.
Now, you see what Colin Cowherd tweeted this out. I wanted to show you this. Colin Cowherd tweeted this out. He said, yeah, the Lions O-line is beat up. Chargers, though, are 11-4, and it's been even worse all season. LA was also down to RB number 3. Let's be honest. Dan Campbell took over play calling. 3rd down has regressed badly. The Lions just aren't as sharp in key spots. Good news. Great GM.
I don't know, Colin.
So he actually said he has more faith in the GM, but he was kind of coming at a little bit more of Dan Campbell of the play calling side, which I know we talked about this yesterday. I think Dan, and I know there's a lot of Lions fans who responded to this tweet and were like crapping on him because they're like, the offense with Dan has been better and he's improved it and stuff. By the way, Extremes only, good news, trash GM. Well, he's not trash, but yeah, Colin obviously is a big Brad Holmes guy. But I'll say with the whole Dan, personally, because I want to talk about just Dan Campbell real quick. I think Dan Campbell did what he had to do and take over. He took over play calling, right? Like he had to. John Morton, it wasn't working out. Okay. And I know people can bring up like comparisons and stuff. It just wasn't working. Okay. And Dan took over. He started utilizing JMO. Even though you still haven't really figured out the DMON stuff, he did figure out how to really get the best out of JMO. I think my thing with Dan, though, I think the reality of I need to see Dan back in his old role. I think when they had success, Dan was the CEO. He was the guy that was overseeing offense and defense, maybe weighing in a little on offense, kind of doing his thing, being the leader of men. I think Dan as a play caller, personally, although he might be able to do it, even though it's been inconsistent, he's still kind of learning. I think I've seen enough. I think it's best for Dan and best for the Lions if they hire a proven play caller on both sides. I tweeted out yesterday, hire a proven DC, hire a proven OC, and moving forward, Dan kind of takes more of puts less on his shoulders. I think it's better for the team entirely. There's some coaches who like to do it and can do it. I just don't think Dan, he might be able to do it if he continues to learn. I just don't think the Lions are in a window right now where you can just let Dan learn play calling. And I think he would prefer not to do it. That's just my theory. So yeah. It's been a little, I just think that he needs help. Literally. He needs help, man. He doesn't have any help from his coordinators this year. And that's even more on top of the problems that they already have. So I think I've seen enough of the offensive play calling. I think they need to go bring someone in. I've said Brian Daboll for a while. People didn't like that take, but go bring
I think you're spot on. He needs to get back. Like I said it last night. You could feel when they switched, obviously, the Commanders game, it switched to Dan Campbell. All of this starts happening, and the whole downfall starts happening around, I'm not saying that time, but you could start feeling a sense of, hey, man, where's the identity of this football team? Why aren't guys playing hard? Defensively, they start to struggle a little bit. It felt like everything started kind of going a little downhill as Dan Campbell's play calling. And over the last 3 weeks, I said it yesterday, Jeff, like we have never heard in the last 4 or 5 years of Dan Campbell being the head coach, we have never had to ask questions about the identity and what in this team playing hard. We never have. All of a sudden, he's play calling, probably more focused on that, which fair enough, like as the head coach, like if you are play calling, like, yeah, you are going to put a little bit more focus. Like Sean McVay, I'm sure puts a little more focus going towards the offense. That's fair. But looking at it like, hey, the identity of this team, it went away a little bit the last 4 or 5 weeks. It disappeared a little bit. And guys aren't playing as hard. And you could see it. And I know he's saying the effort's there, but like when you do watch his games, it's frustrating because there are plays to be made. And when you talk about like Dan's talking about like effort, like, and then he goes like, hey, there's a lot of missed tackles defensively. That's effort, making tackles, like stepping up and making plays. And it's gone away a little bit since kind of you could tell maybe Dan's had to step back, or he doesn't want to, but like naturally it happens. So yeah, I think you have to go out there and you have to, I think in my opinion, I think you have to go get 2 new coordinators. And I'm going to stay on that all off season. I think you have to go get 2 new coordinators because you regressed defensively from last year to this year, like in a major way. And you've had injuries. Yes, you can make that excuse, but there were major injuries last year on this defense. And they were able to be top 10 in a lot of categories. You're essentially almost in the bottom 15, bottom 10 of all of those categories this year. So like you regressed in a massive way. And you do not like, and I have a feeling that Shep's going to get another year. And I told you yesterday, like there's so many people out there who, do what we do and go out there and they'll give every excuse about why Shep should not be the coordinator. And they'll be like, but give him one, and they'll end it with just give him one more year. Like let him get one more. Like why? You just gave every excuse of why he should not be the coordinator anymore. Kelvin Shepard's a great dude, man. And people make fun of me because I always say guys are great dude, but he is like an unbelievable leader, unbelievable dude. But obviously as a coordinator, it's just not working out. And I don't even care about last night. You went up against Alex Brosmer. They had 7 sacks. Everything was good. Yeah, it looked good. You went up against a 4th string quarterback, a practice squad guy. You can't use that. You have to look at the games where you went up against Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Jameis Winston,
Patrick Mahomes, even with that.
Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. You weren't good. I guess Hurts, the Eagles one, they actually did have good games. But like has been no consistency, and they've regressed in a massive way defensively with players being back.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, they can't handle it. You want to go to the playoffs and win playoff games, and you can't face any good quarterback and hold your own. I mean, that's a problem, even let alone Jameis Winston. Well, Dan Campbell, after the game, said this quote, which Nolan Bianchi put out. He said, Brad and I have a lot of decisions to make, which, indicate that they're going to have a busy offseason, right? Things are going to have to happen. Decisions are going to have to be made. And it actually brought me back to an older clip from Brad Holmes talking about Windows. And actually, shout out to Nick Koloff. He put it back out. But it's so funny seeing these old clips resurface of Brad Holmes speaking, because it's just kind of like, now that it's kind of hindsight, we get to see some of this stuff. But here's Brad Holmes talking about Windows. I want you guys to listen to Brad Holmes here, and then we'll look at, how the Lions can fix it. We'll look at some of the cap. But here's Brad Holmes talking about Windows.
Is there a window, or is there a window that you need to stay in? And I think that we've done a good job doing our best we can to avoid windows. And I understand that contracts come up, and, stuff happens. But we feel so good about our young core and young nucleus of players. And, we feel really good about our quarterback. And is there a window, or is there?
What are we doing?
Wow.
What are we doing?
So there's no window. This is where things go on. This is the moment. And Jeff, I think everyone hands up. I think a lot of people were like, yeah, Brad, like, here we go, dude. I love that long term.
I always hated,
maybe not everyone, but at least me.
The thing I always hated personally, and I've always said this, I hated the sustained success talk. I hate that, because in the NFL, that's not sustained success. I don't want to hear about sustained success until you're in a Super Bowl. Like the 49ers, even though they haven't won one, they could talk about, well, we're going to keep taking shots. We've been to multiple Super Bowls. Like, we're going to keep doing it. And you're like, okay, you guys have proven that. Or the Chiefs, we've won Super Bowls. We want to keep sustaining success. Okay, you've won Super Bowls. The Eagles, we've been to 3 in the last whatever how many years. We want to keep sustaining success. I don't want to hear you say the two words sustained success when you haven't even made a Super Bowl and you made one NFC Championship game, which is an incredible year, but everything after that's been regression. Like, I don't want to hear sustained. How about just success? How about we just make a Super Bowl before we talk about sustained success? I hate that.
Once you win one, then I think that conversation can turn to how can we build and
how can we
have
keep
more.
It? Yeah.
Yeah. You have to win one.
I hated that word, or those words. I hate it. It's
I think a lot of people saw the NFC Championship game, and Brad included, and even me, and I think majority of Lions fans, maybe you were an outlier in that. I think a lot of people saw that and they were like, we want this forever. Lions fans we've never seen it before. And Brad maybe in over his head a little bit, being like, and like someone, who was it? Ken in the chat. Shout out to Ken. He said, young core, all of your best players or the ones that shouldn't have been taken are free agents the next 2 years. Your young core no longer is a young core. You know what I'm saying? You pay those guys a lot of money now. Those aren't young. It's not a young core anymore, man. Like, those guys are all now on massive deals. So it's not the same as it was maybe 2 years ago when you had rookie deals. Like you now, life comes at you fast, Brad. It really does. And you have to be prepared for it. And he was not. The last 2 years, he was not. And now it's hit. And that's crazy. That's a crazy clip to look back on.
Dude, it's like, this is the thing. Everyone in the chat, we've all been watching the NFL for a while. Okay. Some people have been watching it more than we have. Okay. But we all know a common theme. When you look at, there's two ways you can have sustained success, right? You can either have an all-time great quarterback and an all-time great head coach like Mahomes, Andy Reid, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, right? That's how you can have that type of sustained success. Or maybe you have a very, very good general manager like a Howie Roseman, or, you have, what's another example? Howie, I guess I can bring up Les Snead. Yeah, they've been to 2 Super Bowls, won. Like, when you have like an elite GM, which Brad, that's the pressure he's under. You have to try and do what these guys have done. And a great head coach, obviously. That obviously helps too. Brad has to, we don't have Andy Reid and Mahomes, right? That's just a fact. You don't have Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. So the way that you're going to have sustained success is the way the Eagles have done it. That's like, and people hate when we bring up Howie Roseman and the Eagles, but it's the only team you can really point to and compare because it's the closest comparison. Jalen Hurts isn't some like world-beating quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but he's not Mahomes or Brady, obviously. That's the way, or Les Snead or John Lynch, another one. Like, they don't have Mahomes or Brady, but they find a way to make the Super Bowl and compete for Super Bowls. That's really the only comparison you can bring up. So for Brad Holmes, he's got to be John Lynch. He's got to be, Howie Roseman. He's got to be Les Snead. And that's why people are like, but he doesn't approach his job like those guys. It's like Brad thinks like, I'm going to do it my way and my way is going to work. It's like, dude, I have bad news for you. In life in general, the best advice for anyone in any line of work is look what others are doing to have success and mimic some of those things. Just sit there and be like, hey, here's the clear pathway all these teams are doing it. I'm going to do it my way, and my way is going to work as a first-time GM with no proven track record. To me, is idiotic. Like, that's like us starting Crunch Time and being like, yeah, I know all these other YouTube channels and all this stuff. They're all doing it a certain way. We're going to do it our way, and our way is going to work. It's like, no, dude, you're an idiot. Like,
there's a
blueprint,
a path to success of how to do it. And you could, I think with Brad, like, you could sprinkle in maybe your little things with it. And I think that's part of it. It's like taking a little bit from everyone and like, hey, this is how you succeed. This is how you do it. And make it maybe a little bit of your own. But the fact where it's like, there are a lot of moments where it's like, it feels like he's veered off and he's like, I'm doing it Brad's way.
Right.
And it's, again, I think he's and you, like, what's one of the biggest, again, dude, I feel so bad we keep going back to this. I feel like it's like we're repeating the same thing over and over, and it's fans at some point, it's going to happen all offseason. I think might get tired of hearing it. But like with the Eagles, what did they have, Jeff? Offensive line. Howie Roseman built an offensive line. He has sustained it. Cam Jurgens taken over for Jason Kelsey. They have depth at the offensive line. And I know you say usually it's hard to have depth in the NFL, but when one guy goes down, man, they've had Lane Johnson go down. They've had tackles step up and make plays. Like, they have depth. Los Angeles Rams. What is something that they've built over the last 2 years? A defense and an offensive line for Quorum and Kyrie Williams and Stafford to be protected, and as well as a defensive line to disrupt offensive lines.
Yes.
Kansas City Chiefs, what's one thing that they're really good at with Mahomes? And it seems like a little bit they've had a lot of injuries this year, and the reason they're out of the playoffs, Josh Simmons out, but they have built offensive lines, and obviously you have Mahomes. Look at the Bears this year. I think this is the best example of them all. The Bears have been bad for so long. Ben Johnson, what did he do, Jeff? He took the exact same thing, just like you said. Take from what's successful already. He took exactly what Detroit did with Brad Holmes to start their organization. He went to Chicago and he went to Ryan Poles and said, this is what I want. If you want me to be your head coach, this is what you need to do. And what did they do in one offseason? They went and built one of the best offensive lines in the NFL currently. They have multiple Pro Bowlers. They have guys who weren't Pro Bowlers who are going to be. Like, they have that right now. And guess what they're doing? They're going to win the NFC North this week, I bet. And they just literally took from what you did. So for Brad, it's like he built, I would say he fully built the O-line, but he built a team around a great O-line. He failed, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, he failed to maintain this offensive line. He failed to maintain it. And he tried to do his own thing and go off and be like, I'm going to try and get developmental guys like Giovanni Mannion and Colby Sorsdale. I'm going to defensively go get multiple corners in a draft. I'm going to waste picks and trade guys and move around all these third-round picks. It's not how you do it, man. Like, it's the blueprint's out there. The blueprint's out there. It's so simple. It was simple for 2 years. He did it for 2 years.
Yeah. And the reality, and this is where I want to transition to and have the conversation, because, the question that people, are asking the most is, how are the Lions going to bounce back from this? Like, what the hell are they going to do? Like, what's the next steps? What do they do? Well, and we've been talking about this. I feel like we've been hammering this a lot the last 2 weeks because the Lions have been losing. So we've had plenty of time to conversate about it, but it's like the window conversation. Okay. It is going to get harder. Okay. People are putting in the chat, well, Jared Goff's set to make $70 million. It's not just Jared, by the way. Aleem McNeil's contract's kicking in. Penei Sewell's contract's kicking in. DJ Reed's cap hit is 4 times more next season. It's not even just the big marquee players. Everyone's contract is rising. Everyone, because that's what Brad, I think, initially did, is he kind of backloaded a lot of the money, or at least front loaded some contracts, but the cap hit was higher on kind of the back end of some of the deals, because he figured we're going to push this thing down the line a little bit. That way we have more resources now. But the problem is you don't utilize the resources you have now, and then you wait, and now contracts are getting more expensive, and it's going to be harder to make moves. That's just the reality. I mean, Aiden's coming down the pipeline. Aiden's he's making a lot of money. Panay, Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously. J-Mo in 2 years. It's coming down the pipeline, his contract. What are you going to do with Brian, Sam, Jack? I mean, you got to pay Jack. You're probably your best defensive player right now this year. So it's you're going to have less resources to work with. There's no question about it. So for Brad, the only way that you can, really improve as a roster is you have to nail draft picks, and you have to find veterans in free agency that'll come here for less money, that are still productive players. And you have to free up money, have guys reconstruct deals, find a way to free up money with Goff's contract, free up money with some other guys' contract. And honestly, maybe even if you have to take a hit now, maybe even get out from under someone's contract if you have to. And I know it's harder to say that because I don't know who's going to take on some deals, but there's going to be some tough decisions Brad's going to have to make, right? That's the number one thing Brad has on his plate. He has a lot of things he has to go through. Before we get to the free agents, because I want to hear what you have to say about guys that are free agents, because that's honestly what they're going to have to handle too, is who are you bringing back? Who are you replacing in the draft? Who are you replacing in free agency? The first thing the Lions have to do right, you got to nail 2 coordinators. Let's just start there first, okay? That's where Dan comes in. Dan Campbell's job, because he's going to weigh in on the roster with Brad, and they're going to do their thing. Dan, before we get to that, you got to hire 2 coaches, okay? That you will not fire within a year. So that's already that's an important task, and that's not an easy task, because we have hindsight now, but at the time, maybe Dan's I got 2 good coordinators. Now we're probably going to fire both of them. At least I think he should. If he keeps Kelvin, that's an indictment on Dan Campbell. Let's just assume he fires both of them. I think you make the call for Brian Daboll on offense. You make the call for Mike Kafka out in New York on offense. Maybe you make the call for someone like one of those head coaches we brought up that got fired. Maybe you go and bring in like a Zach Taylor. I don't know, someone that is a proven track record. And then on defense, Boone, I like calling up Jonathan Gannon. That's our guy. We like him a lot. That's a really good DC. Maybe you go reach out to another guy that's proven. Maybe Jonathan Gannon gets fired. I hope so. He'd be a great hire. But you go get two guys that are proven coordinators to come in and coach your football team. I think that's the first thing they got to do. And if they can do that right, I think the overall morale of the fan base goes up a little bit. It's like, just nail the coaches first. Let's just start there, because the Bears did that. Everyone's doing that. So just do that. Todd Bowles, maybe he gets fired. Maybe you bring him in as a DC. I don't know. Go get two proven coordinators.
Proven. Keyword. Proven.
Proven. Resume.
All caps. Proven.
Guys that have had like top 5 offenses or top 5 defenses. Okay.
Proven.
Proven. Do that. And then we can get to the rest of it. What do you think about that? First step, hire the coaches.
I think that's a big step. Would I say that's number one priority? No, but I think first step. I think we're going step by step.
Step by step.
This isn't priority. This is step by step. You get into the off season next week. After next Sunday, you're getting there. You're like, okay, what do we do? I think it might take a little long. Listen, I think Lions fans do have to have patience with the coordinators, because you do have to be realistic. You got to wait until this coaching cycle happens a little bit. There are going to be guys that get fired. There's going to be coordinators who are good coordinators, but like you said a couple of weeks ago, you have good coordinators, but their head coach gets fired, and you're sitting there going, okay, maybe we can go get a coordinator that his staff got fired. It wasn't his fault. It was
Jim
Coach
Schwartz. Maybe another
Jim Schwartz. Yeah. If that staff is let go, Jim Schwartz available, you take them. Like, I think there are options out there. I don't think, if I'm just being honest, by the way, side note, I don't think Jim Schwartz would ever be a coordinator in Detroit.
Probably not.
Pride-wise, you don't want to be a head coach there and then later in your career be like, I'm a coordinator here now. You don't want to ever do that. Like, I'm in a different office now in this building. Don't like that. You know what I mean?
You probably wouldn't. It'd be a pipe dream.
Yeah. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be so wrong, but that's just pipe dream. Yeah. But yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I really am.
Yeah, the first, and then even Michael LaFleur, like JC says, Michael LaFleur isn't proven, but I think he would be a good OC. That's LA. That's the guy you mentioned. Mountain. Yep.
He's the OC over there, and he's learned in this. And I think there is proven, right? But there are one-offs to where Mike LaFleur, he's the OC there. He doesn't call plays with Sean McVay, but guess what he's learned over the last 2 or 3 years? He's been in the headset helping Sean McVay call plays. I'm sure there are times where he asked Mike LaFleur, what do you think? Or Mike LaFleur says, hey, we should do this. And
yeah,
I'm sure Sean has done it. Like, I'm sure Mike has called some plays within that offense, and he has seen, like, that's where, like, you've seen guys come from that Sean McVay tree be very, very, very successful. You can be like, that's essentially kind of a proven.
Kevin O'Connell, Zach Taylor, all those guys. Yeah. I think Sean McVay's he's been very highly complimentary of Michael LaFleur. He loves Michael LaFleur. So I would be cool with that.
So step one, coordinators.
Step one. Yeah, step one. Write this down.
Proven
coordinators. Not the most important, but it's the first step. All right. It's the first
step. Two. Can I throw out a step two?
You go. Where do we go next? What do we do now?
Can we go to free agency? And I'm not talking about signing free agents. That'll be step 3. I'm talking about current free agent players on this roster right now, because I think there's 2 more steps before you even start signing players for agency. I think step 2 in this offseason, I think it's, can you pull up contracts that are up this offseason? How many guys do we have? Is that it?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's 24 that are expiring.
So let's go one by. We want to go one by one?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna write this down too. For the people who are mad, there are people, Jeff, who are saying, Booner, you look around too much. I have ADHD and I write notes down. So
that's fair.
Step 2. All right, step 2. Lions free agents.
Yep, and then we got this list. It's a long list. Probably a couple of these guys you're not going to really blink an eye at, but these are the guys, and it's top to bottom from like most expected salary. So like most important's at the top.
I made a list here that said in and out. DJ Reader, Jeff.
I couldn't be farther from out. I mean, or farther from in. Excuse me.
You want DJ Reader?
No, I'm far away from in.
I'm so confused. You said both. Yeah. You said you're out.
I said it wrong. I meant far away. I'm far away from in. I'm out. I'm so far out.
We move on from DJ Reader.
I'm far away from even bringing this guy back. I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out, dude. Save that money. Get him out of here. He's 31. You've seen enough. You've seen enough. So yeah, I'm out on him. I think his market value is like $4 million. Yeah, that sounds about right. He's not he's not the same player he was.
By the way, Jay Hart asked, are we cutting people? We're not cutting people yet. We're going through our off season. This is the plan for our off season.
Yeah.
Step by step. We are at step 2 right now. It's retaining free agents that are currently on the Lions.
Yeah, these are expiring deals. So these are guys that are free agents.
I'm with you as well. I'm out on DJ Reader. I think DJ Reader has done, like last year. I was thinking about this last time on my drive home, Jeff. DJ Reader coming off last season. It was one of his best seasons, I think, of his career. And he was a massive piece of that defensive line interior, especially with Noah Leem. He didn't have a million sacks. That's not what he does. But he produced for you, man, in the run game. Run games, declined. I don't know. You can't really put it on DJ Reader because you've seen him be successful with, under the AG umbrella. So maybe you can throw it on Shep a little bit, but
he hasn't
old.
been good.
I think you can go out there. He's 11 million, dude. His it says his market value is 3.8. I think it's going to be more. Like, I know he's older, but I think there's going to be teams out there who offer him a good amount of money. I just don't think with that money, I think you go out and get a younger interior defensive lineman.
Yeah, I think he has the 33rd. He's ranked 33rd in run defense among interior defensive linemen. Like he's significantly decreased. I think last year he was around the same number, but it just didn't look the same. Like they were better as a unit. They were better as a unit against the run.
You could probably find
he's not the entire problem, but he was not the solution. He's not been playing well. So
yeah, you need to get cheaper too. You need to find places to get cheaper.
You got to get cheaper.
You just drafted Ty League for a reason to get cheaper. You can't go out and pay him another $11 million.
Yeah, that's an easy one for me. I mean, he's in year 10. Get him out. I'm done with DJ Reader. He's arguing with Lions fans. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
Alex Anzalone. That's another big one. And I love Anzo. I really like Anzo. I just don't know how you afford him.
Me either.
That's the only problem. I love Anzo. I would want Anzo back. I think he's such a perfect linebacker next to Jack. I do. I just don't think they'll be able to afford him. And that's just the reality. Someone's going to pay him, and rightfully so. He's a good linebacker. So it would be nice if you had Jahad Campbell, because then you could just replace him right now, but you don't. So
you got Ty League instead.
I'll say out, but I'm sad. I'm sad. It's a sad. I'm sad about it.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. Right now, like you're 2 for 2. We're both 2 for 2 on the outs, and that means 2 needs open up instantly. Another linebacker, whether you move Derek Barnes and you have to go get another Sam, and a defensive tackle, starting D tackle. So like those are 2 holes right away that you open up. But I don't think they're ones that you didn't expect. I think those are 2 that you expected to open up. Maybe Brad didn't. That's why Brad hasn't really addressed that much. But we'll see.
The only way he comes back is if he takes a discount, which I'm going to be honest, like just because I love the guy, he should not take that discount. Like go get paid.
No, I mean, it's probably going to be, he's 31. Him and DJ Reader are 31. They're going to be 32. It's probably one of their last contracts in the NFL. Like those 2 guys aren't going here to be like, I'll take a discount. Like maybe they want Super Bowl, so they would, but with the Anzo, man, for the price that it's out. I'll say this with Khalif. I know a lot of people might not, Khalif's cheap and he's reliable. I know he had an injury this year a little bit. I will go Khalif. Like if we're talking about like there's chances maybe you have to make a trade at wide receiver wise, that I don't see Khalif being a guy that's going to be like a $6 million. Right now he's at 5. Market value says 3.3. If you can get Khalif Raymond under 5, then I just think that's just you have to retain guys because you need to have a roster. I would put Khalif in that category of just, you're coming back. Like you're good to go.
Yeah, I agree. He's kind of like he's like a culture guy, but more than that, he can actually contribute to some extent. So like, I think his value, even though you'll pay him like $2 million a year, I think he's worth more than that. Just not that I'd pay him more, but what he does for the team. I think he's a good guy to have around. There are some times you make moves based on like the human being and what he means for the locker room. I think he's a good locker room guy. Like I want Khalif around. I like Khalif. He's worth the money to me.
I mean, if you look, like you get paid, like right now, he's only played in 14 games this year, and he's around the same, like when you look at guys and yardage wise and what they contribute to he's like around there with guys like Jalen Noel in Houston, Michael Carter in Arizona, Christian Kirk in Houston. Like he's around a lot. Like I'm looking here, Rashad Bateman in Baltimore. Those are a lot of the names that he's around. And some of those guys like Rashad Bateman, I know I think he played in a few less games and he's fit about 50 yards under, but he's cheap. Like that's not going to touch your cap essentially at all. And he's just a guy in there. Like Jumbo said, same argument for Alex Anzalone. It's different because Anzo, the price is more than triple. Anzo's going to be asking for 10,
probably
almost 10.
Yeah,
and
probably
Khalif, you could argue he had a little down year this year, and he's at 5 right now. He's probably going to go down to 3. So I think Khalif's one that you just keep around. You got it. This is where people have to understand. You have to keep some guys around. You can't just say all 20 free agents you're going to walk away from.
No, yeah, you got to keep
to be more realistic a little bit.
Yeah, you got to keep some guys. I agree. We agree on Khalif. He's not going to, by the way, he's not going to cost more than 5 to Steve. He's not going to be like $6 million a year.
If he is, then you can let him walk. I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
There really hasn't been anyone else outside of like Tom Kennedy who's like really stepped up and like that could be your Khalif replacement.
And just like a couple games out of Tom, I'm not going to be like, all right, we're done with who it has been over the last couple of years, one of the best punt returners in the league. Like, I'm not going to just get rid of the guy for that,
Yeah.
For a couple $1 million, especially with the new like kickoff rules. Like his position is more valuable for what he does. It's more valuable.
Hey, breaking news, by the way. Doc said DJ Rader hates Booner. DJ Reader hates Booner.
Oh, wow. That's almost like a compliment. You got DJ Reader not liking you?
Hey, man, he's not going to be on the team next year. So
he said, quote, I'm going to get paid somewhere else. That's what he said.
The difference between me and DJ Reader is I'm a Detroit Lion for life. I have a lifetime contract because I was born into it. DJ Reader is only a Detroit Lion for 2 or 3 years. So,
yeah.
I could care less, to be honest.
You have a lifetime deal. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, different conversation, though, on Amik Robertson.
Out.
Yeah.
I like Amik. Again, this is people Booner. You always say you like the person. Like Amik as a person. He's a great personality in the media. Out.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know about Amik either. I think that's a position for me that he's 27 years old. I think he's going to want to raise, and I don't think his play has dictated a raise, nor has his play dictated, oh yeah, this guy needs to be extended. I just don't. And I know people are like, no, well, Amik this, Amik that. I'm indifferent. I really don't care. So I'm out on Amik. I would be cool with him leaving. Go get a payday somewhere. If you want to sign him as depth, if he's cheaper, like Michael said, okay, fine. But I doubt he wants that. He believes he could be a starting corner in the league, and I think someone will pay him to be a starting corner. I just don't think the Lions should at all. So I'm with you on that. I would say bye. You have Terrion Arnold coming back. You have DJ Reed coming back. Those are your 2 corners for the future. And if you want a nickel that bad, you can go sign someone to play nickel for cheaper, or you can draft someone in the draft that plays nickel, which is crazy because you've drafted 40 corners. But you get my point. They can address that. So yeah, I'm out. I'm out on Amik.
I think too, Jeff, like with that, I think you're in a position right now with this roster. I think you're going to hear it a lot with some of these guys, like with Amik Robertson. Like, he can play a little bit, but I just think there's a moment where like you have won without Amik before. You know what I mean? Like you went to the NFC Championship with no Amik. You're struggling with him. And I think it's like you just need to take a shot at some other guys. Like you need to get other guys in this building. And you need to go out and take the money that you have with Amik and go get another corner and go take a shot on another corner in free agency. That's what, in my opinion, that's what you need to do. And you need to go out and get someone who could play nickel, could play outside if one of these guys get hurt again. But
you know what? Rakestraw might come back too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Was that serious from you? That felt like a genuine reaction.
Hey,
I could care less. Shout out Anders Rakestraw. That man's all over social media right now.
Breakout season. But yeah, no, I'm out on Amik. That to me, that's like
you could find a replacement. I think maybe as good, and then with the chances of being better for Amik Robertson in this league. You can. Yep. I'm sorry. Yeah. I like Amik, but that's just kind of a fact of what it is.
I agree with that. What about your the guy you have such a good relationship with, Levi Onwuzurike.
Why do I have a good relationship with Levi?
No, you don't. You hate the guy. What about Levi Onwuzurike? Huh?
I'm out on Levi. I was last year, going into last year. Remember, I was a big Levi guy. I was like, stops the run. He is great in the run game. I'm out though. Just go find. Listen, let's do this. Can we do this real quick? See the next 4 guys there. I've already written down my in and outs for the guys on the list so far. 3 out of those 4 defensive linemen out. I know it's crazy. Because you have to go get a whole new D line. Levi Onwuzurike, Marcus Davenport, and Josh Pascal. I am so far out on that. You can go and free. I don't even care. There's one of those things, Jeff. Oh, they're going to go somewhere and be successful and fine. Happy for them. Go do that. We need to get someone in this building that doesn't get injured and as well can produce. I'm out. Roy Lopez, I'm so far in on. I want Roy Lopez to be a Detroit Lion until he retires.
Yeah, Roy Lopez is the only guy that had a pulse this year on the interior D line. Only guy that had a pulse. I love Roy Lopez. He plays with energy. It's infectious. I love Roy Lopez. He's a player, man. He's a player. Credit to Brad for finding him. I'll say that. Like, I'll give him a little bit of credit there. Like, he's a stud. He was kind of you gotta know who he was or where he came from, and he's a good play. He's a good solid player.
So I want to run this by you real quick. Levi, Marcus, and Josh. It's inevitable, and there's 100% chance that Brad keeps at least one of them around. Who do you think? One, who do you think it is? And 2, if you had to pick one, if it's a different decision, if you would do it differently, what do you think? Like, who do you think Brad keeps, and who would you want to keep? If you had to pick one.
I have to choose one. I don't have an out.
He's going to keep one.
Okay. No, I think he keeps Josh Pascal. I think he does. I think he brings back Josh, and I don't want any of them, but I guess you'd bring up Josh.
I disagree. I think it would be Levi O. I think Levi is great in the run game, and I think they're like, we need to step up in the run game a little bit.
Yeah, well, so they both are. Josh was pretty solid last year for him, but I mean, yeah, I don't mind that. They're probably in the same tier. Levi definitely has shown.
I think Josh has been more injured though, so
that's true too. I mean, like I said, I just have a feeling he's just gonna look at Josh and be like, he's close. Like this guy.
Yeah, I just have a feeling Levi and Josh are
or
both
Levi. He could bring back 2.
I would not be shocked, to be honest, and I think Lions fans might ride if that happens.
He might bring back 2. He might bring back 2.
Oh, dude, I would.
He might bring back 2 because those are his guys. I mean, he drafted them both in the second rounds of prior NFL drafts.
Less who his guys are.
Those are his guys.
I could care less. This guy kept around the Onwuzurike or who are the Aquara brothers?
The Aquara brothers.
3 years too long.
Yeah, I mean, like you got look at you have a great. So we can agree. So out on every defensive lineman on those next 4, but Roy.
Yep.
And then you get to Grant Stewart, which I think we agree. I just like Grant Stewart. Bring him back. You got to bring Grant Stewart
I
back.
Put him on my in list. Yeah. He's cheap too. He hasn't really done anything on defense. He's just a special. He's like a germ. He's going to be super cheap, $1.5 million to $2 million. Again, you have to spend some of those contracts. You have to have guys like that on your team.
Now, this is where it gets interesting because look at the names on this list. So we're going to go, and I'll start from we'll just go down this list and we'll get your thoughts because this is where it gets kind of interesting, some of these names. So you have Grant Stewart, we're in. Daniel Thomas, I don't care. Out, whatever. I don't mean whatever, Daniel Thomas. Avonte Maddox, I wouldn't mind. I like Avonte Maddox. Actually, he can play in Meek Robertson's position. He could play nickel if you need him to. So if you need a guy to play
depth, though, no.
He's just depth, yeah. But I'm saying he's just depth. He's good depth. So I will take a Maddox. I'll take Maddox back. I have no problem with Maddox.
This is an interesting one. Next one.
And then you get to Al-Quadin Muhammad. He's going to, by the way, Al-Quadin Muhammad, you see his market value. Look at his value. It's almost $10 million.
This is probably one of the more easiest decisions that I've ever had.
Can't afford him. He's out.
He is out. I know it's crazy that man had just had, what does he have, 10 sacks on the year for you?
I think, yeah, dude. He has double digit sacks. Yeah.
You can't go out and pay a 31-year-old edge that much money. I'm sorry. Just because he had one good year. You got your good year out of him. You're not getting that year again. He's played 9 seasons in the NFL.
Yeah, he has
It's the
11
best.
sacks on the year.
Yeah. Well, what's his career high? Next career high.
His next career high was 6 in 2021.
He had a career year at 31 years old. You're not getting much more out of him. I'm just being like, it would be a waste of $8 million.
And his sacks, the thing that concerns me about him is his sacks came in bunches. Like he had 2 sacks against the Vikings. He had nothing the prior 2 games. He had 3 against Dallas and had nothing the prior 4 games.
Yeah.
Like it's like he gets these games where he'll have like 2 sacks or 3 sacks, and then he's gone for 4 games. Like that's where it's like the numbers. If you just look at the numbers, you're like, wow, they have one of the best edge duos in the NFL. But it's like, no. If you watch the games, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's AQM.
I feel bad because he has had a career year, so it's like, yeah, you want to be able to, for him monetize off that. So I wouldn't mind if he can go somewhere and get paid. But I do have a feeling Brad's going to bring him back and is going to spend a pretty dollar on him. Dude, I don't think you should. Like Brad's been cheap, instead of going out and getting guys that have produced in different teams. Like, like last year, we all wanted Josh Sweat for a little bit, right? And he cost too much. But Brad wouldn't pay that. But if Brad would be like, oh, AQM, 11 sacks, like, yeah, we could pay. I just don't. He had one really, really good year. And like you said, a lot of that came in bunches and it wasn't consistent at the end of the day. He's had some massive games for you, massive games that have put him in, to where he can go get money somewhere.
Yeah, that's how it's been. So yeah, you can afford him, A, but B, I'm not interested. I think you need to find Brad Holmes, please, long-term answer. Long-term answer for that edge 2 spot. Not a little Band-Aid, not a little Marcus Davenport, long-term answer, okay? Go find someone in the draft that can play with Hutch for the next 4 years. Long-term answer. At least 4 years long-term. But find someone, please, Brad Holmes. Please. We've been asking for 5 years.
Think with Brad Holmes in this D-line, I can't help but think the comments that he made when we're like, everyone wanted specific edges with Aiden Hutchinson, and Brad's like, no one in this league does that. And we've said that too, Jeff, like no one does it, but he's talking about no one gets 2 Aiden Hutchinsons.
Yeah.
No one's asking for 2 Aiden Hutchinsons, but if you really want me to get a little bit detail, go look at the Houston Texans. They're going to be in the playoffs in the AFC, and they're going to have a chance to make a run for a Super Bowl. Why is that, Jeff? That's because they have an elite defense. And why is that? They have Daniil Hunter that they went and traded for.
Yeah, look at
and
the
then
Rams
they paid him. So you have Will Anderson, you drafted, and you have Daniil Hunter, 2 of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL on one defense. Obviously, you don't it's hard to do that, right? And they got lucky. But Brad needs to make a move similar to that. Maybe not as high as a Daniil Hunter, but you need to get as close as that as possible with Aiden Hutchinson if you want to have an elite defense.
Starts up front, always does. And you saw games this year where they weren't able to get to the quarterback. They were getting torched. So just please. It's not just the edges too. It's Aleem. Like they need to find out what the hell's going on with him because they didn't get any pass rush from the interior, which is a whole nother conversation. They struggled in that area too. So it's bad. Yodi, by the way, I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. I mean, he's depth. It's hard to get depth at offensive line. So
yeah, the problem with Yodi, it's like you would have hoped that maybe Giovanni Manu or Colby Sorsdale would be that guy, and neither are. And Yodi's kind of the one that's taking that over. So I would just, unless I don't know. Yodi's been better than some of the guys in free agency that you signed that were supposed to be.
Yeah,
Tristan Colon, all that.
Colby's still on the roster though, right? Colby is. So like Colby's
he's on IR.
Yeah, I'm out on him and then replace him with Yodi. He's a better option. He played tackle in the game this week. It's like, what the hell? He's hopefully he doesn't get plucked away in free agency. I like him as a depth piece. Kyle Allen, I'm indifferent. I really don't care.
Don't care.
Backup, so yeah.
Zach Cunningham, Ezekiel Turner, don't care.
Rock Yassin, yes.
I'm
in.
I'm writing that down. I'm
in on Rock. I'm in on Rock.
He's done incredible this year.
Bring him back.
Shane Zylstra, DeMarco Jones, Tyrese Wheat, Trevor Nowaski, you have to keep.
Have to.
He needs to get a contract, by the way. Jake Bates as well. But those are restricted free agents, it looks like.
Yeah, either way, he's coming back. Malcolm Rodriguez, he's the guy. He's a big one. And you might have to bring him back because Anzo will be out. He'll be out. So You're going to need depth at linebacker. So Malcolm might even be brought back just for a lot of those reasons. I mean, you need depth at that spot. So how many do we have in? How many have we brought back?
Well, I didn't write all of them down, but I have Khalif, like the main guys. Hold on, I'm writing Nowaski down.
At least the ones we were like pounding the table for.
The main guys: Khalif Raymond, Roy Lopez, Grant Stewart, Avante Maddox, Coyote Awasika, Rocky Sin, and Trevor Nowaski. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. And then we have about 9 guys we were like, just get out of the building, let's move on from. And then there's probably a handful of guys there, 6 or 7, 8 guys.
What about DiCaprio Boodle?
Could care less. To be honest,
the corner DiCaprio Boodle, he's out there. No, yeah, there's only about 5 guys you want to bring back on this list. There's no more than that. I mean, you have to just save money where you can. I mean, you just have to. Unfortunately, I'll tell you what, everyone that's tuning in right now, hit the like button on the stream. We got plenty more to get to. We're going to 11 o'clock. We got another 40 minutes. I'm going to tell you guys about our friends over at Sleeper, who's a proud sponsor of the show. When we get back, we'll get into Ryan Clark's comments and much more things as it pertains to the Lions. And we also have a mailbag segment later in the show. We're going to be reading super chats first. So if anyone throws super chats and they have questions, thoughts, concerns, we'll get to that first. Probably about 10:40 around that mark. We'll get to that. But before we do, let me tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. We'll see you guys in a minute. I've interrupted the video to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper and the new promotion they have going on. A brand new promotion is now live on Sleeper that could be paired with the 100% deposit match promotion that's already been going on. It's a free $20, no deposit required, plus first-time users will also receive 100% deposit match up to $100. Use the code CT Sports. You guys should already be using Sleeper. It's one of the fastest organically growing fantasy platforms in the entire world with millions and millions of active users. They are crushing it. And if your state allows it, you should be using Sleeper Picks. It's a real money product that connects friends over picks. You just choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame live or across different sports. Pick more or less than the predicted stats. And on Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000x payouts. Share with your friends. Get rewarded together. Don't forget, code CT Sports. Get a $100 deposit up to $100, and you got your free $20 entry. Sleeper is taking care of their customers. Always remember, gamble responsibly. Now let's get back to the video. All right, we got more to get to here. By the way, Ryan Clark on First Take had his top 5 bounce back teams. Top 5 bounce back teams. Now, I can't play it. ESPN's very stingy with that. Well, at least with First Take. They let us play Get Up. They let us play all these. But First Take, they nip you. So I can't play the whole clip, but I can show you the teams he has on the top 5, and I can give you the reasons he had the Lions on there. So these are his top 5 teams, if you can read that. He has the Lions at 1, Commanders at 2, Cowboys at 3, Vikings at 4, Chiefs at 5. Those are his 2026 bounce back teams that he believes will bounce back. The reasoning he gave for the Lions is they have so much talent still on the roster. He said the biggest thing that they have to figure out is for Dan Campbell, what they want to, they have to figure out things offensively. So whether that's play calling, the offensive line, stuff like that. He didn't talk a lot about Brad Holmes, but just from the Dan side of like figuring out what he wants to do schematically. But his point was essentially, hey man, they still got a lot of talent. And I think next year they're going to bounce back. They're going to be a better team. And it's like, what he's saying with the talent, they still do have talented players. There's no denying that. They still got some really good players, but the problem is they have holes also on a roster that has to, like, around those talented players are just massive holes. Like that's the only issue that they have to address. But Ryan Clark isn't completely off, like by putting them in a bounce back team list. I think that's a fair.
No, I don't think he is. I think it's a fair.
And Booner, if they lose, they'll have a 4th place schedule. I'm just saying, if they lose this week.
Yeah, I think you would rather, and I know people don't want to hear this, I think you would rather lose to get the worst schedule. And obviously, we found out from last year, 15-2, schedule really doesn't matter because you could go 15-2 and get bounced in the first round anyways. So it really doesn't matter. It's more, I guess it's like setting yourself up for, home field is the only positive out of it. Ryan Clark's not wrong. I'm with him. Like I probably, if I did a top 5, I would have the Lions as a bounce back team. I think you can put a little. I know we were going at Brad Holmes and this Lions team a lot today and last night, which deservingly so. Like this season has been an utter failure.
Yes, yeah.
And it's been embarrassing for them. So yeah, you're going to get a lot of heat from that today, but I do still think there is a side of it to where, yeah, there's pressure and there's, the seat's a little warm when it comes to building this team and getting this roster set for next year. I still, and this is what the argument on Tuesday I had with you, Jeff, like I still do in the back of my mind believe Brad can do it, as crazy as that does sound. Like I again, like we're throughout the day today and the next week or so, like we're going through these different steps of how to fix the team and who to move on from. And, we're going to look at free agents and we're going to look at what position groups need to be, assessed. I still think Brad needs to do that and he can do it. The only issue is like, will he? Like, I think that's like the biggest, question is, will he? Like, will he do it? Because in the last 2 seasons, fans and media members and so many people have brought to Brad and have let it be known specific spots that they feel like there are needs and issues. And he had always just kind of gone by them and did it on his own and said, I'm doing it my way. And it's failed. It has. And as much as they want to be like, well, injuries, technically, no, you failed. You didn't have a roster. So, yeah, the bounce back, it's going to come down to a Brad Holmes. I think that's the theme of this offseason. One man and one man only. It's Brad Holmes.
Yeah, like what Andrew said, like the points like Andrew makes, there's kind of where my head was at as well. Like you'll have a good draft pick, okay? You're gonna have an easier schedule. Probably makes more sense to lose against the Bears. Let's just be real. Even though Dan, good luck telling Dan that, but I'm just being honest. Like you should rest starters. He said we weren't doing shit this year, which honestly, it's probably it's hindsight now looking back. It's like, yeah, they were never going to do shit. But to have them as a bounce back candidate, I don't hate the take because I think you have some arguments. Now, there's no denying. I mean, you have said this a bunch of times. It's going to be harder, obviously. But does that mean Brad can't? What do they pick right now? 15? Something like that? 15, 16? They're like middle of the first round, I believe, something like that. It depends what Brad wants to do, right? If you want to trade up and get a really good player, if you want to trade back and get more draft capital, you're going to be able to do that. If you want to stay put and draft the best left tackle, like you're going to have some options. You're going to have a weaker schedule. Like I think it just comes down to, like I said, the only way they're going to be able to fully bounce back is if, like you said, the number one guy, Brad Holmes, the guy's got to be just in a zone this offseason, just hitting. I'm not saying you got to be perfect in the draft, but you got to get some good players now in this draft.
Yes.
You got to hit on some good players. You got to fill some voids with cheap contracts. You got to make some tough decisions in free agency. You got to find a way to bring in guys that'll take less money. And then you have Dan Campbell. You got to nail coordinator hires, just like Nick Sirianni did when they got rid of course, the 2 that failed when they got bounced by the Buccaneers. And then they got Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, and then they won the Super Bowl. So it comes down to those decisions. But again, like I guess if you want to see a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel, is that they're going to have more resources. Now, resources meaning better draft pick, not resources meaning money. They're going to have less money.
Less money. Really not a lot of draft picks because you
not a lot of draft picks, but I should say better. Some resources will be better, higher draft picks, but you'll have less of them, but they'll be higher. So that's what I mean when I say that. I'm curious to see, honestly, bro, if Brad considers trading back to get more draft picks. Like, does that happen?
I wouldn't hate it. And
I mean, I don't know.
This is the problem with I think with Brad from last couple off seasons to this. He's been what's the word? What is it when I need to get better at some of these bigger words here, where he's been not content, but very like mellow in the moves that he's made. Very mellow in like the moves he's made. He's tried to play safe moves, like very safe moves. Where I think this offseason, it's like, Brad, like you don't need to be safe anymore. You need to make plays. Like you talk about players making plays on the field, Brad. You guys want players to make plays you need to make plays in the offseason. You need to go out and make splash moves. Like the DJ Reed.
The word?
Complacent or it's more so nonchalant. There you go, from Crazy Clown. Like all these words are great, but he's just the last 2 off season has sat back and just made moves where it's like, like you said, like we talked about earlier in the show, like long-term moves. Like, these are long-term. We're
sustained
building
success.
Yeah. And it's like, Brad, listen, you can have sustained success, but also make massive moves. Like who I look at as well. Like, dude, we can go around to GM around the NFL that have turned franchises around the last few years. Our guy Gladstone in Jacksonville, he came in instantly. They were bad last year. They had a foundation, but what did he do with the foundation? He came in this offseason and made splash moves instantly. In the draft, he dominated in the draft. He went and made moves. He made a trade with the Lions, I believe, at one point. I think he was the one that made the
That
trade
was
for Isaac Tesla. And he fleeced Brad Holmes in the sense of like, hey, give me 1 million third-round picks for the next 3 years. And we'll do that. No big deal. Yeah, now we have 1 million draft assets. Guess what? The Jags have all your third-round picks. And guess what you're doing? You're out of the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. So it's like Gladstone came in, and he didn't do it by just sitting back. Like, I watched every single behind the scenes for Gladstone, Jeff, over the offseason and through the trade deadline. He made it known, I am going to be aggressive, and we are going to win football games. He made it known. Brad, the first couple of years, was that way, and then he's veered off of that and goes, yeah, let's just be a little bit more mellow in what we do. I don't want to be that aggressive. And you need to be. And he needs to be this offseason. He needs to make those moves. And the trade deadline, look at the Jags. They go get Jacoby Myers with Brian Thomas. And that offense is buzzing. Brad, we're good. We like what we have. 0 trades.
Yeah.
0 trades. You were one of the best football teams in the NFL at that moment, but you had your holes at the trade deadline that everyone knew about, and you didn't make those trades, and then the team fell apart because you didn't address that. So I think with Brad, like, dude, he has to be aggressive. You have to be.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. It's like when we watch those behind the scenes. I mean, you see the Eagles one, Howie Roseman is just calling everybody
aggressive.
He's just like calling guys, trying to move up, trying to move back. Like, that's what it's important for Brad. You got to be aggressive. The great GMs are able to do that. I think Brad has shown the ability to draft, even though you pick out draft picks, you're like, ugh. But overall, in his tenure, you're like, okay, you just hit on some draft picks for sure. That's the only way the Lions have gotten to this point. He's hit on draft picks. He has the capability, but the question mark for Brad is, it's like when Howie Roseman spoke at the deadline and Howie was like, I just couldn't sit there and sit on my hands. Like I can't do that. I need to be aggressive. I need to at least say, I'm trying here. I'm trying to put us in a position to win a Super Bowl. And I feel like Brad, like you said, the comment said, like complacency, being nonchalant. That's where he kind of has fallen into a trap a little bit. And yeah, like this draft, whether it's trading back, trading up, like you can't just sit there and be like, all right, we're just going to, like, you don't have a 3rd round pick, dude. Like, the 3rd round's important. I mean, you find pretty good players in the 3rd round. At least Brad has. I mean, he found Kirby Joseph in the 3rd round. You got to find a way to get some capital. Maybe you trade away a player. I don't know. Like, find a way to get some capital because.
Hey, Richard here too. Look what the Patriots did in one season. Like, that's spot on as well. Like, the Patriots had a little bit of some players, a little bit of a foundation. New GM, new head coach comes in, boom, makes aggressive moves.
And a lot of money.
Yeah, they had money. Granted, they did have a lot of money, but you could find ways, right, to open money up. You could find ways to make moves, but you just can't. Listen, this is the biggest problem I have, Jeff, when it comes to like when going into this draft and everything we have. The injury excuses, I'm so far out of the window on that. Like, so far out.
You can't use it.
So far out. 2 years in a row. 1 year, okay, can deal with it. 2 years, that means you have the wrong guys in the building. Wrong guys. You just do. You don't have depth. You don't have anything. There's everyone in the NFL has excuses. I believe I heard something last night on 97.1 that they said the Chicago Bears have had more injuries than the Detroit Lions, and they're about to win the NFC North. When you talk about players missing games,
they're less talent. Their defense isn't like they don't have Aiden Hutchinson. They have less. They don't have as much talent, but they play hard. They get turnovers. They're well coached. Like,
yeah, you cannot use any of that as an excuse.
They're playing great football. They're great. They're playing really good football. So yeah, you can't use the injuries. I mean, look at the 49ers, man. Like the defensively, they rank better in every category essentially. Last time I checked. And I don't know about after Phillip Rivers kind of lit them up, but they were higher in every category on defense, and they have so many injuries, dude. They don't have Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. It's like missing Aiden Hutchinson and Jack Campbell. Yeah. And they're still a better defense than
if they win this week and next week, guess what? They win their division over
it's ridiculous.
Over the Rams.
Yeah, that's coaching. Like that's Robert Saleh. He's doing great on the defensive
it's also
side.
Having depth.
And they have depth, yeah. The John Lynch has gotten them some depth. And by the way, guess who isn't playing any games for them this year? The receiver they gave a lot of money to, Brandon Ayuk, who's their number one wide receiver. So they don't have a number one wide. It's like Amon-Ra just being like, I'm out. He's out. And they have like Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle, which George Kittle's a great player, but they don't have like Jawan Jennings, which Klotz loves him, but they don't have like some dominant number one. And on defense, they're missing multiple players.
Mind you, their 11th overall pick from last year has not played as well, or he
I think
played
he tore
early.
his ACL,
He's on the IR. He hasn't
Yeah.
been playing.
So they're missing their top 2 edge rushers. It's like, bro, come on. But guess what? They added a lot of depth on the D-line this offseason. They brought in Bryce Huff, I believe. Like, they brought in some dudes, so they lost
They
a guy.
made moves.
They made some moves. They got depth. You know, it is what it is. Now, people want to bring up the rookie contract thing again. It's like, yeah, the Patriots do have a quarterback under a rookie deal. The Bears do have a quarterback under a rookie deal, but they also drafted those guys in the top 5. You're not like, again, this quarterback class, I'm sorry. And this is, every year we kind of have it. This quarterback class, we can collectively say it ain't that good. There might be one guy that pops out of this quarterback class that ends up being pretty good. I don't like it. This isn't the class with Drake May and Caleb Williams. There's this is not,
it's not the one
Jay
2 years
Daniels.
ago, that Bo Nix one where, you had 5 or 6 go in the first round.
It's not that, man. So, like, again, I don't even know if they'll be able to find, if you want to draft a quarterback, okay, go ahead. I don't think that, who? I mean, Dante Moore might go back. I like Dante Moore, but he's probably going to go back. Ty Simpson, he's going.
He might go back. He might go back as well.
So you really have what? Fernando Mendoza, John Mateer, Carson Beck. I mean, Carson Beck. Like, what? I don't want any of these guys. I'm cool with these dudes, man. Like, maybe to your point, maybe you draft a guy, like you just take a guy at the 5th round or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like you're not getting your rookie quarterback this year. I just don't. I don't see it. And Arch Manning, like those guys are all coming back. I think Arch is for sure. He's not. What is he eligible next year? Or is he eligible this year?
Think next year.
Okay, so he still has another year, and people are saying he sucks all of a sudden. So, like,
imagine this year. It feels like this is one of those years with a quarterback class to where just like a lot of those guys could go back and probably have success. Like John Mateer, Dante Moore could go back and win the Heisman. Ty Simpson could go back because Ty Simpson's had one good year. He's been at Bama for 4 years now, but he's had finally a good year. He can go back and even get higher up and be a Heisman candidate.
Make more money, make
more money, and then still get drafted in the first round and maybe even higher next year because he's good enough too. You could see a lot of you could almost see most of these quarterbacks this next year go back to school. To be honest, you could see a very, very small quarterback.
You're going to see that more and more in college football, man, because these guys are making millions and millions of dollars to be really good college quarterbacks, and it's so much uncertainty in the NFL. Like, why wouldn't I stay at my college? Like John Mateer, if he goes back, dude, he's going to make so much money. If he goes to the NFL, he's going to make a quarter of that, and you don't even know if you're going to play. It's like,
yeah.
Or you could start at Oklahoma and make a crap ton of money. You know what I'm saying? Like Ty Simpson, like all these guys go back, make money. Dante Moore, it's like raise your stock, make more money. It's just, yeah, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, you're not going to find the solution at quarterback this year, man.
No.
Like someone's going to take, I think the Jets will probably take Fernando Mendoza or like the Raiders or somebody. And then that's really the only quarterback that people are going to clamor over. I mean, someone just said Malik Willis is a free agent. Steve, what are we doing? Malik Willis, no. No, he's not a bad backup. Actually, he's not a bad backup at all. But no, we're not going back to the. We're not going back to that. Greg says
there's no. He's going to. I think that's probably one of the
will.
biggest guarantees of this offseason is there's going to be Jared Goff contract renegotiation, and it's going to it's going to lock him in probably for the his full contract because before maybe you would be able to get out, dude. But you need to do it. And I don't see why he wouldn't do it.
Ken says if Goff renegotiates, then you are stuck with him for 12 years.
You're not 12 years. That's like an insane overreaction.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But you need to do it. Like you open up money with Goff. You know what you do? You open up as much money. You go to Goff and say, "Can you open money up for the next few years for us? We'll get you an O-line." And if I'm Goff, I'm going to them and I'm saying, I will do any restructure you want. Just please get me a center and a guard and 2 guards. Like, please.
It's like Goff. If you want to make your career a little longer, you're going to need to restructure. Like
you have no choice.
Getting killed. Yeah. If you don't restructure, I mean, you were going to be killed back there.
And watching him at the podium last night, I think he's more than happy. Like he did not seem too happy. Did not seem thrilled.
Yeah. Even Doc says, I feel like Brad wants a pocket passer with some mobility. Well, here's the thing.
Did you not see him
I
yesterday?
think
I'm kidding.
I think yeah. Did you see him? Hey, did you see him scramble out the
I
pocket?
tweeted out, by the way, Jeff, dude. I tweeted out and said, "Where are all the golf haters now?" He scrambled and made that play before all the turnovers, the 5 turnovers. If you go back to that tweet did not do good in the moment. There are probably 100 comments underneath it of Lions fans like going at me. Like I'm right. They're like the dude. They're literally tweeting like I'm like, where are all the golf haters at now? And then there's 100 people underneath being like, I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm right here after he turned the ball over 4 times. It's like, all right, 3
Where
times.
were you all year?
Now, someone I forget. I think Doc just said it about the Brad thing. He did not that it didn't work out, but he did draft Hendon Hooker, who is a pocket quarterback with mobility. So I wonder how true that is. Maybe if even Brad has like this thought in his mind, where maybe eventually he does want someone with more mobility. I wonder if that is the case. I don't know. But the reality is he knows what Goff is right now. He's obviously not going to get rid of him. He knows just as well as anyone. I think he said it. Didn't he say it? It's easier to get worse at quarterback than better. But I do think there is a part of Brad where, yeah, maybe he does. And like long-term wise be like, hey, maybe we do need a guy that can, move a little bit. That's where the league's heading. I mean, there's no denying it. But I think Goff's obviously he's performed really well for not being as mobile. But yeah, that's where the league's heading. I mean, yeah, everyone quarterback you look at now can move a little bit. That's just how it is. And eventually the pocket guys are dying. It's just a reality. Pocket guys are dying. Even like Bo Nix, all these guys can move. JJ McCarthy for the Vikings. He can move. They took him high. Drake May.
You can win with the pocket guy.
It's not as I mean, the only really the last dying breed. You got Matthew Stafford, who's playing really well, but he's really a pocket guy. Jared Goff and I mean, who else? Tua?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm trying to think like, who else is a pocket guy. I mean, really like, straight up just pocket passer. I mean, is not really.
Yeah, I guess
like,
you're not wrong.
Even Trevor Lawrence can move. Like you see, he rushes for like 30 yards a game. Whatever.
I just don't think it's like something where you cannot win with him. Like you still can. You can find a way.
It's just harder. It's just harder because he can't move. That's it. It's not saying it. Would you love a guy that can scramble for a first down? No question.
Everyone would. Yeah,
like no question. CJ Stroud, I think actually CJ can move a little bit too. He's not as mobile though, but he has. I think he had like a couple hundred rushing yards a year. Joe Burrow, obviously another guy, but he had the one run last year where he ran for like 40 yards, and everyone's like freaking out. But he usually stays in the pocket too.
Yeah,
but it's not as common. That is true. By the way, Super chats will be read. We already have one. Let's get to that Detroit Lions mailbag segment. Super chats will be read first. If you have questions, concerns, thoughts, whatever, you guys can throw a super chat in. We'll read that first, and then we'll get to the comments as well eventually. But Nick, appreciate the $5. He said, draft a center and left tackle, offer Ragnow a bag for 1 year, and Decker to stay so the rookies can sit behind them to do it the right way. Draft a center, left tackle, and then they sit behind Ragnow and Decker. You don't have to offer Ragnow a bag. I think he has 1 more year. So he would just come back for retirement, I think.
Yeah. The problem I run into with Ragnow is I think he wants to, obviously, like him and Taylor Decker are like best friends. And that was known, like very well known when Frank came out of retirement a month ago. I do think there's a big question if Taylor Decker is going to retire or not. From listening last night, people who have been around those buildings, like Jennifer Hammond and stuff, it sounds like there are actually like, I don't know if there's conversations confirmed, but a lot of people I think that cover the team, and Doc's probably in the chat right now and can confirm, like that's something that I think has been going around, that Decker not most likely, but there's a high chance that he could retire after this season. So if he retires, I don't think Frank Ragnow would come back. I think that was a big selling point, him coming to play back with Taylor Decker. Like that's like his best friend.
I think so too. That's the feeling I have. I think if Frank comes back, Taylor stays 1 more year. If Taylor comes back, I think Frank will think about it. I don't know. I think they might be a 2-for-1 deal. That's like my thought on it. I don't know.
Like the doctor said there, they might cut him. Lions cut him. I think they just have a conversation. It's a mutual like retires as a Lion. I don't think Taylor Decker, if I'm being honest, I don't think he wants to play somewhere else. Is my guess. Like
it's Lions.
He's made the money. Yeah, like he's been a Detroit Lion his whole career. Like he's made the money.
And I think he's like happy. I'm with Steve. I think they'll let him decide too. I don't know if they'll just cut him. I don't know. Would you?
Yeah. Well, they could go to him and say, "Hey, we're considering cutting you to save this amount of money because it is a lot of money. where
What
are
do you think
you
about
at? Like
retirement
are you here? Where and I think it's a mutual conversation. And I think it ends up turning out to be where he steps away. I mean, dude, he even like last year, people were talking about it with Taylor Decker because he's gone through so many injuries. He's older than Frank, and he's been through so many. I believe he is, isn't he? I think he's older than Frank.
Yeah, he is. He's like 31, I think. 31. Frank's like 28.
Yeah. So like he's a couple years older, and people thought, oh, well, maybe you can get him 2 more years. He had injuries this year, man. He battled through. So it's like he just keeps battling through them. He was on the Frank Ragnow practice plan. He was like he just never practiced because they wanted him ready.
Yeah, and then Giovanni Manu was developing.
Yeah,
and
no,
he will probably be developing for the entirety of for the next 5 years. I just don't.
I think you sign. I think you know what you do. Actually, we actually have not had this conversation, Jeff. Shout out to Nick for getting us into this conversation. I think next year you go sign a high level free agent right tackle and you move Panay over to left.
You know what? I love that. I think Panay is your left tackle, and I'm sick and tired of it. He there's no way you're not drafting when we talked about this before, we've talked about this. We have to keep correcting it. You're not drafting a left tackle, you're drafting a right tackle.
Yeah.
Because Panay is your left tackle.
I don't even think you replace a tackle like Taylor Decker with the draft. I think you go out in free agency and get a high level free agent and you spend on a tackle and you move over. And then I think you do the same thing at center. I think like the 2 position groups that you need to like really focus on is tackle and center, especially if Taylor Decker retires. You make that move. Throw Panay over, go to free agency and get yourself a high level center and a high level tackle.
And I think Panay wants to because that's what he played his whole life. I mean, he's a left tackle. He played left tackle all the way growing up. He played left tackle at Oregon. He was drafted high as left tackle, and he played right tackle and struggled a little bit to start. And he's been obviously a all-pro right tackle. But I think he's a Tristan Wirfs type of guy. He can be all-pro at both positions. He's that good. He's athletic. He just is. So yeah, he can thrive at both. I think Panay wouldn't have a problem with it. And honestly, it's best for the team. Like if you have a right-handed quarterback, you want to protect his left side. You know, like you want to protect Jared Goff's blind side. And if it's not Taylor Decker, which Taylor's obviously had his problems with injuries and regression as well, but if you want your best offensive lineman or best tackle at left tackle. It's just like, look at the best tackles in the league. That's what they did with Wirfs. Trent Williams plays left. Like, it's just how it is. So yeah, they're gonna have to make that move eventually. I agree with you. And by the way, Bob Quinn. Someone said Bob Quinn drafted Decker, Glasgow, Jackson, Ragnow, Dahl, and Crosby. Yeah, the only thing Bob Quinn could draft is offensive linemen. I'll say it. He's drafted some pretty good offensive linemen. That's the only thing he could draft, Bob Quinn. I'm being real. I don't know what it is with offensive linemen, but he did hit on Decker. He did a hit on those guys. So I will give you that. Steve Wild says Manu, Frazier, Ratledge, Mahogany, Sewell. Let's get it. Manu's not playing right tackle. He's been learning left tackle. He's a developmental player who's been learning left tackle, and he can't even play that. So now we're going to teach him right tackle. It's like at that point, he's a bust. I mean, it's just like at that point, you're not going to teach Manu a whole new position to learn, and he's barely getting left tackle. I mean, it's just he's not quick enough. He's not quick enough. He's too slow. He's big, and he has a lot of that, like physical ability, but he's just too slow. He's too slow. He's just way too slow, man. Travis Fulgham. Oh yeah, don't forget about him, man. What a stretch he had too. Travis Fulgham. Let's see. Real cream of wheat. I'm not on the Mahogany train. Sorry, he isn't that good. I've said Mahogany to me is he's a player that I don't think has earned the right to be just putting your future at offensive lineman. He's not earned that yet. He just hasn't.
The problem is you have to. I do think there's a world like Tate. I think Tate's going to be fine. I know it was a rookie year. I think Tate's going to be just fine.
Yeah,
I don't know if you. So I think he's going to be good, but I do think, like your interior has to get really good, man. Like I think Taylor was just average for you. Like a lot of people actually, when I posted about Taylor a couple of weeks ago, and people were like, Taylor's actually been like one of your better offensive linemen. But I do think Taylor retires. But I think like your biggest focus, like that interior, man. You got to solidify that, and you have to get a new left guard potentially and a center, and then you have to figure out this next tackle position if Taylor hangs him up. You do.
Telling you, tackles are not an easy position to get right either. Like, that's why tackles, you could argue easily that a tackle should be your first pick, because like tackles are usually good tackles are going high in the draft. It's like any other. Usually you're not finding tackles in the middle of the draft. I mean, you just aren't. Like, look at the offensive alignment, like Taylor Decker, first round pick. Even Frank, first round pick. Like, these guys are first round picks typically. So if you want to draft a tackle, it's probably going to have to be with that first pick this year. You probably have a better, even though edge rusher is important too, but you might have that edge might be that second round pick more so.
Are there any free agent tackles that you could go after? Can we pull that up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. Let's see.
Because you want to get cheaper and you want to get on a rookie deal, but if there is a guy there where you can move Panay to left and you can go get a right tackle.
So let me see. I'll pull up.
What would a price range be?
So I'll pull up tackle. I'll just pull up tackle. So these are free agent tackles for this year, 2026. So can you see this?
Yep.
All right. So you have top of the list is Braden Smith with the Colts. He'll be re-signed though, because he's a great tackle for the Colts. He'll probably be re-signed. But then you have like Jonah Williams, right tackle, Cam Robinson. Yeah, he hasn't been good. Rob Havenstein for the Rams. He's kind of getting older.
Yep.
You have
Andrew Wiley's 32.
Illuminor, Jermaine Illuminor, the right tackle for the Giants. He's actually been pretty solid. Andrew Wiley, it's kind of meh. Besides the top guys, like Braden Smith is the only guy.
I guess essentially you have to, if you move Panay, you got to get a tackle in the first. I think this is turning out to where you have to draft a tackle in the first round.
Yeah,
you have to trust a rookie tackle next year.
These monies aren't like. Yeah,
there's no. In Taylor, I think, was it Taylor due to make 15 to 18?
Yeah, he's gonna make this tackle. Yeah, like the tackle draft. The tackle free agency class is bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, so maybe you're gonna have to rely on you're gonna have to draft a tackle in the first round then. What about center? Can you go to center or guard? Guard or center?
Yeah. Center. I'll start with guard. Or excuse me, center.
You have to get a tackle in the draft then. That has to be your first position.
Center, there's more options. Connor McGovern, Ted Karras. They have Tyler Lindenbaum. He's really good.
Lindenbaum.
He's good. He's going to make a lot of money though. I mean, he is. He's 25 years old, so he's coming off his rookie deal.
17.6 potentially.
That's what he's projected, which honestly might be about right. He's going to make pretty good money. So that might be tough. That might be like a Taylor Decker if you get rid of that money.
Yeah, draft a tackle and then you put the money towards him.
Yeah, you might be able to sign a patch guy, maybe someone that could play center for you for a year or so.
Yeah,
but there's not that many.
That's
good
better
options.
than Graham. Anything you have right now, or anything you probably sign here, is probably better than what you have currently.
Yeah, Cade Mays, like Lukas said, he's with the Panthers. He's been pretty solid. By the way, Craig Thomas, appreciate the $2 since the show is spot on. We appreciate you watching, Greg.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the $2.
But too. Yeah, center, it's kind of top heavy a little bit. You can probably find you have better options though at the middle of the free agency class, and then guard. Let's see, guards. They have besides Braden Smith, I think he could play guard, but besides him, Joel Bitonio. Okay, now we're talking Wyatt Teller, both Browns guards. Kevin Zeitler will be another free agent at 36. Evan Neal. Oh God. Ethan Pocic. Elijah Vera Tucker for the Jets. He's gonna be. There's not Zion Johnson for the Chargers. Trevor Penning, who the Lions almost got. Yeah,
almost.
David Edwards. Yeah, you could probably find. You might be able to find a patch at guard though. Joe Bitonio maybe.
I think the path in the offseason for a center is just free agency, and you have to make that move. You have to get a new center in the building.
Yeah, that's probably the priority here. You might be able to get away with Mahogany again if you just want to build around them. Maybe you get a better center, better tackle.
Is there a left guard? Is there guards available? I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is all they got. I mean, this is it. Joel, you're really looking at, in my opinion, you might need
Oh,
to do
these are
like
guards here. Okay.
yeah, besides the top. I don't know. They have Braden Smith. I don't know if he's played guard before.
Kevin
but that's
Zeitler.
yeah, it would basically be like a Zeitler type of move with like a Joel Bitonio. He's 34. Maybe he wants to come join a good a team he thinks he can win with. I don't know. Maybe you get Joel Bitonio to play guard for you.
Yeah, I think you spend the money at center or guard, and then you let Mahogany develop more. It's great. I know we don't like the development thing, but like you could is Mahogany going to be better than any of these guys on this list next year?
I don't
probably
even,
find someone that's better. And if you're in that spot, then again, you have that's a chance that you waste another year waiting and hoping that a guy is good, which you don't have if you're Brad, man, you're looking at your job. We don't have time to wait. Like we just don't. We don't have time anymore to wait. This is no longer a long-term success thing.
And people are talking about like Miles Frazier. Like I like Miles Frazier. I do. I like him. I'm who knows? Maybe he can be a better player for you next year. I mean, he's still an unknown commodity though.
Yeah.
But I do like him. I just being real, as a higher upside. I think he has a higher upside than Mahogany personally. So, he's played guard in his day. That's usually the position he's played more. So if you can play him at left guard, maybe you have a new offensive line next year of like, you can have like Panay, Miles Frazier, maybe Frank comes back, Tate, and like a new right tackle. And maybe we can talk about like, okay, that's not a bad O-line. Now we're in a better spot.
Worry is, if I'm being honest, Brad and Dan, especially like Dan, because I feel like Dan he is very loyal to certain, like to guys. And like he had that comment earlier this year with the offensive line, like we're good. That's like the famous comment this year that everyone keeps bringing up. My worry is those guys, like they're going to come together and they're going to be like, offensive line wise, we get healthy, we're fine. Like they're going to be like, we like Christian Mahogany, we like Miles Frazier. If Taylor leaves, we'll get a tackle, but they're not going to go out in free agency and go get pieces, which I think they need to do. And that's my worry. That's one of my biggest worries.
I never put it past him. Never put it past Dan to say that. I mean, would we be shocked if Dan was like, I would like the guys we have?
That's what I think. Like, I think right now, if we're leaning, like if we're looking at odds, like in the sports book, I think it's like minus 150 for that to happen this offseason. I don't like that. I hate that.
I don't like it either. Yeah, I don't like it either. And people are talking about Ratledge at center. I mean, I don't know. Do you still have faith? Maybe he can be your center?
Just keep him out right guard. Let that man develop at his position.
Yeah, because now you're changing him to center now. It's like, I don't know. And I get it was a thought at first, but I don't know. Because then maybe you can have Tate at center if Frank doesn't come back, if you want that, and then you have Frazier at right guard. But then it's like, now you got a guy learning at center. It's a whole nother thing. Jay Hart, appreciate it. He says, mailbag, the sneakiest thing that scares me this offseason is learning just how bad Kirby Joseph's injury was this season. Hopefully it's something extreme, but that's certainly a concern to have.
Yeah, it is. One thing that we just haven't had the conversation about is that safety group. You have Kirby, potential massive career injury, and then you have Brian Branch, Achilles tear.
Let's talk. I want to talk more about the safety room next week. I think that's a good conversation. I think talking the safety room next week, because that safety room, man, it's going to be tricky. I'm not. I still got hope for Kirby. I bet you he'll get surgery. It'll probably be announced probably right after the season. He gets surgery on something. I don't know. That knee injury is pretty bad. If you're out and you're not on IR for 6 games, it's bad. Okay. Or 7 games, whatever it is. He was out for a while. And then Branch with the Achilles. I know he tweeted out like, oh, I'm keeping receipts. It's like, I really hope Brian can return to form just based on history, man. Achilles injuries ruin guys, man. I don't remember. There's not too many guys you can bring up that have been back to being just as good, if not better, from an Achilles injury. Doesn't mean he can't be a solid player. He's still for you, but that's a brutal injury for a DB. We're not talking about like a quarterback. Even quarterbacks, like, they suffer Achilles. Like Kirk Cousins, man, looks like he was older, obviously, but still, like Achilles injuries might affect certain positions differently. But as a DB, Achilles injuries are tough.
I'm interested to see Brian Branch his comeback. I'm interested to see how he comes back from this.
And you'll see him.
There are a lot of people who say he's done. Like we're in the chat there, 40 Phenom, he's done. It's an interesting thing. And his contract, like he's due an extension too.
Yeah, but it's his last year next year.
Yeah. So he could get extended this offseason. I would be shocked And it would be irresponsible for Brad Holmes to extend him this offseason.
That'd be crazy.
If he did that, then I know Brad's just giving money out because it's a family business at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially you have you got guys that you're probably going to want to pay with Jack, and Jack's going to get paid. I think Jack should be paid now. I mean, if you could pay,
I think as soon as whenever the window opens to extend guys from that draft class, Jack needs to be extended day one, instant.
That dude's always healthy. He's always good. That's the two things you look for. He's productive and he's available.
Did you hear him last night? His interview, post-game interview?
No, what'd he say?
Oh, he put it all. He said it's all on me.
Oh my God.
I was shocked when I heard that.
Oh my God.
He was like, just put it all on me. I'll take the blame.
Guy's a leader too?
I don't know. Can we pull it up? Could you? He only has a minute. Honestly, I think to end the show here, I think it's good to play Jack Campbell's clip, because if you guys want to know anyone on this team who deserves any sort of money or deserves any sort of he's the best linebacker in the NFL currently. It's on
their YouTube.
Yeah, you just got to go to the one with the player locker room.
I got it.
He has his own little section. It's only a minute and a half. He was so defeated, and it wasn't a defeated to where, you're like, come on, Jack, you can't show defeat. It was disappointment where he was like, I can't believe that we just got knocked out of the playoffs.
By the way, Lamar Russell, appreciate the 5. He says, y'all, we need to get Jared some help. We can't because Jared robbed us of $200 million. If you get that pay as a quarterback, you have to be able to do more with less.
Do Lions fans understand any quarterback you have to pay? It's the quarterback market.
Yeah, and yeah, I get it. And he technically has done a lot with. That offense with all the shit he's had to deal with. He has put up good numbers, but whatever. I get it.
If you talk about value, you got the value out of him this year. He's had a career year.
All right, this is Jack after the game. Look at this.
Thought on that one. Obviously, a frustrating afternoon. Yeah, just honestly super frustrated. I don't have much to say. That was just a poor performance. And I'll take all the heat for just defensively. I feel like we played all right, but we didn't make enough spark plays. We didn't get any turnovers, and in those type of games, we got to do that. And yeah, so it's on me. But just frustration, just because I know how good this team can be, and I know everyone puts into it, but you got to go do it. So the finality of knowing that you're not going to make the playoffs, how does that hit?
Yeah,
it's. Trying to think of the right word. Obviously, it's disappointing just based off what, again, I think that we're capable of. But again, you got to go do it, and we didn't do it. So
does it feel like just this year it just never came together where you could have a collaborative team where everything was clicking at once?
I think there were, maybe some bits and pieces throughout the season, but I don't know. Just try to do my job. That's all I'm really focused on. So. Thank you.
You mentioned it being frustrating. Is it almost as much confusing? Because you know how much talent's on the team?
I would say no. I'm probably more frustrated just because I know how much talent's on the team, but at the same time, again, we just got to go do it, and we're not doing it, and that's the frustrating part.
Oh my! He's just this guy.
Put it all on me.
It's like Jack. Yeah, that's the leader though. It's leadership. That's that's what that is, man. He's one of your best defensive player this year, most consistent. And he's just put it on me. It's on me. He is the best run defending linebacker in the entire league. And they're bad against the run. He's I'm trying to do everything I can here.
What else can he do?
If he can't make a tackle, they're getting gashed in the run game. If Jack doesn't make a tackle.
It's actually crazy. And I hope people go back to watch some of these games after hearing this, but when you do watch the Lions games, when we're doing our watch parties, anytime the other team runs the ball, there is one player in on every single run play, and Lee McNeil misses a tackle. Guess who cleans it up? Jack Campbell. He was there every single time. I think I've seen him miss one tackle that I can clearly, and it was last week, and no one was there to help back him up, and he ran for a touchdown. And it was Jack missed the tackle, but it was Jack has been there to help out so many guys missing tackles, and one time he missed a tackle and just no one was there to back him up. Everyone else missed a tackle behind him. And it was if Jack's not great, it's tough. Jack deserves a lot of credit, man. He's the best Detroit Lions player in 2025.
Yeah, he hasn't missed. I mean, he's missed one. He hasn't missed a game in his career.
They said he missed 8 snaps all year this year. 8 snaps. And he plays special teams as well.
He's a freaking Iron Man. He's played in 17 games his first year, 17 games his second year, and he's going to play in 17 this year. That's a player, dependable, productive, leadership. Like that, you pay him. He checks every box. You pay him. There's not even a question.
And that man right now, let me go look at the stats in the NFL. You want to see how many tackles this guy has?
Probably 300.
People thought I was crazy when I said Jack Campbell was get over 150 tackles. I said he's going to easily get 150, remember, because Lee was at like 120. Everyone said, Booner, you're an idiot. You'll never. That man is at 165 total tackles with 1 game remaining. Second in the NFL. He leads all inside linebackers in sacks at 5 sacks in the games. 3 pass deflections. I think he's second in the league right now with 3 forced fumbles per game.
That's insane. He almost had one for a touchdown this week.
I know. I told Caleb. I said I looked at Caleb. I said if he would have scored that touchdown, that's an automatic first team All Pro right there. He's solidified.
Yeah, because he's number 1 on PFF and run defense. He's 12th in pass rush among linebackers, and he's 11th in coverage. He's the number 2 overall highest graded linebacker in the
Who's
league.
one?
That I don't know.
Is a dude down in Miami?
Probably. Let me see. I'll tell you right now.
Jordan Brooks, I think.
Yeah, because he has like a billion tackles.
He's had a good year.
Actually, I'm curious now. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. Linebackers. Fred Warner is with it, but he hasn't.
He's won.
Yeah, he's won.
So Jack's number 1. Fred's out for the year.
He got hurt. Yeah, but when he was playing, he was number 1. But yeah, that Jack's over a course of a season, Jack's number 1.
That's it. He's the number 1 rated linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah.
Minimum of 5 games.
Yeah, more than 5 games. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What an incredible. Hey, I'm so happy we got Jack Campbell, man. Guy's incredible, dude.
Yeah. He's the one guy. I mean, at least to talk about a positive, he's been incredible. And by the way, for those who are tuning in, tomorrow, Caleb will be live in the morning at 9 a.m. So if you guys are on Saturday, watch Caleb. I think Flannel's joining. Flannel Sam will be joining tomorrow. So that's a big show. That's going to be good. Caleb and Flannel, and Flannel texted Caleb and said, I got a lot of opinions I need to get off my chest.
That should be.
So if you want to listen to more Lions and Pistons, they'll talk some Pistons as well, I'm sure, at some point. So if you want to tune into more, tomorrow at 9 a.m., they will be live. If you haven't liked the stream, like the stream.
Yes.
Hit the like button on the stream. We have 200 plus people in here. We should have 100 likes on the stream. So hit the like button.
Hold on, before we go, I want to show the people this. Hold on. I want to show this to the people, just so I'm going to find it, Jeff. This is probably the simplest way, the easiest way to win a jersey.
Boom.
We have a Christmas jersey giveaway going on right now. Literally, you're watching the show right now. All you have to do is just click subscribe and then just run over to our X page, follow us, like it, and retweet it. That's it. And you have a chance to win a jersey. We'll pick a winner on Monday. So it's like the easiest way. I mean, there's people that we know that watch, not that we know, but people that are in the show comments all the time that have won jerseys through us. So make sure you guys go lock in on this jersey giveaway.
There you go. Win a jersey, man. Even if you're not happy, still get a jersey. Steve says, thanks for the content, boys. We appreciate you guys. The support this week's been incredible on our YouTube and on our socials. So follow our social media. It's all in the link in the description. And we'll be back on Monday. And then we have tomorrow. Oh, next week will be different because we have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So it'll be a little different. But still, we'll be live. Doc will be joining us. Plenty of content. But until next week, we appreciate you all. We will catch you. Have a great weekend.